Okay. So here's the list of claimed full Great Circle circumnavigation pole over both poles to date. All right. 1. The Pioneer Polecat, 1965. The route: Honolulu, North Pole, London, Lisbon, Buenos Aires, South Pole, Christchurch, Honolulu. 2. The Speed Demon Pan Am Flight 50, 1977. To celebrate Pan Am's 50th anniversary, they chartered a long-range special performance jet. The aircraft was a Boeing 747 SP. The route: San Francisco, North Pole, London, Cape Town, South Pole, Auckland, San Francisco. 3. The Heavy Lifter Aeroflot Antonov, 1990. The aircraft was an Antonov AN-124 Ruslan. The route: Melbourne, South Pole, North Pole, Melbourne. That was the previously held record. This flight covered 50,005 kilometers, which is significantly longer than the Earth's polar circumference.
Why would they use that aircraft?
Sure.
That's the worst aircraft to choose for that flight.
Right. And ensuring it met the strict Great Circle requirements. The current record: one more orbit, 2019. This mission was launched to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing and holds the current FAI world record, which is the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. Sounds French. Aircraft Qatar Executive Gulfstream G650ER. The route: Kennedy Space Center, Florida. North Pole, Nur-Sultan, Kazakhstan. Mauritius. Is that how you pronounce it? Then the South Pole, Punta Arenas in Chile, and then back to the Kennedy Space Center. Record of 46 hours and 40 minutes. This flight was specifically designed to pass as close to the precise 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south coordinates as possible. Those are, to date, the closest, well, they claim full north-south circumnavigation. And then it says here, like, because I originally asked for suborbital claims, it says you mentioned suborbital in your initial query. To date, no suborbital vehicle like the Virgin Galactic spaceship 2 or Blue Origin's New Shepard has performed a polar circumnavigation. True suborbital point-to-point travel over the poles remains a theoretical goal for companies like SpaceX with Starship, which could technically fly a ballistic trajectory from one hemisphere to another via a pole in under 45 minutes, but this has not yet been attempted.
Okay, that's interesting. Ask it. What about Fram 2?
Fran 2?
Fram, F-R-A-M?
It says, excuse me, the Fram 2 mission was launched on March 31st, 2025, represents a historic shift from aircraft-based circumnavigations to the first ever crewed orbital polar mission. It is not suborbital. It is a full orbital mission that specifically targeted a 90-degree inclination to pass directly over both poles. Spacecraft and launched via a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon resilience capsule from Kennedy Space Center, Florida. The trajectory: this was the first human flight to achieve a true 90 degrees or 90.01 degree polar orbit. Previous crewed records were significantly lower, such as the Soviet Vostok 6, which was 65 degrees, or the Space Shuttle, 62 degrees. Orbit speed, and at an altitude of 430 kilometers, the crew traveled from the North Pole to the South Pole in just 46 minutes. This is roughly 30 times faster than the one more orbit aircraft record set in 2019. The flight lasted approximately 4 days, concluding with a splashdown in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California on April 4th, 2025. It goes into the crew specifics. Scientific and historic goals, atmospheric research, health studies, legacy. That's about it.
Yeah, that Gulfstream one was trying to like beat the record or something for fastest circumnavigation. They did it in 46 hours, 40 minutes, and 22 seconds. Their refueling stops were optimized for quick turns, about 30 minutes each.
This is what it claims, right? It claims it did pole to pole to pole, right? Like 55 passes directly over the poles within its 3.5 to 5 day duration. Why can't they be clear on the days? But that's weird. Okay. The spacecraft completed one full pole to pole to pole loop every 93 minutes. It traveled from the North Pole to the South Pole, one half orbit in roughly 46 minutes. From that footage, does that look like it's doing that? Doesn't. It looks like it's going really slow. Like to the point where they zoom in and it doesn't look like they're moving at all.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And if they're that height above the Earth, why are we seeing this much curvature?
Right. Yeah, I was looking at that. I was looking at the tiny little bubble window he looks through too. I was wondering if that has something to do with it. Wherever they are, you know. All right, get this, right? I don't get this. I don't understand this, right? This is weird. The mission's 90-degree inclination meant it was flying perfectly perpendicular to the equator, allowing the crew to witness 24 hours of daylight at the North Pole and 24 hours of darkness at the South Pole during their orbits. What? But they witnessed 24 hours of sun and darkness? I thought they were orbiting it like doing pole to pole in like 46 minutes.
Exactly. They wouldn't be loitering over the poles for very long.
I don't get that statement. It's really weird. Actually, I messed up there. So the previous record was the 1965. So 1965 Boeing 707 held that record until 2019. It claimed to have done it in 62 hours and 27 minutes. And the 2019 attempt was 46 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, there was
Sorry, 1977 Boeing 747, 54 hours and 7 minutes. Okay, so 77. It wasn't broken. The 1977 flight wasn't broken until 2019.
There was another attempt back in 1988 by a Saudi businessman. He did it in 52 hours, 31 minutes, and 48 seconds.
Hello. What's everyone
How's it
saying?
going?
Oh, hello, buddy.
Welcome.
Thank
Hello
you.
everyone, how are you doing?
Chilling. That's crazy. My phone's about to die.
Why are you silent? They are crazy, maybe.
Everybody's just hanging out, man. These people are impatient.
Oh, DJ. All right.
What you found?
Listen to this. So I'm pressing it even more. I said, now let's get this absolutely straight. All these attempts, excluding Fram 2, were complete great circles, meaning they reached 90 degrees south and continued as a forward path as possible not backtracking like other polar circumnavigation claims were discovered to be. And it said, to get this absolutely straight, no, many of them were not. When you apply the strict requirement of a forward-moving great circle, meaning the craft crosses the pole and continues out the other side without a 180-degree turn, most famous polar circumnavigations actually fail the test. Here is the breakdown of who actually straight-lined it versus who performed a U-turn or backtrack. So, the failed Great Circle test, right? Many historic claims, especially surface and ship-based ones, reached the pole and then turned around. Fiennes, the Transglobe Expedition. Michael Palin, 1992, reached the South Pole via plane for the finale of his show and then flew back out the same way he came. The true Great Circle flyers, the 180-degree rule. Okay, Pan Am, Flight 50, 1977, Antonov, 1990, One More Orbit, 2019. They claim to have passed the test.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. One More Orbit didn't do that.
Yeah, it's saying this is saying it reckons it did.
Also, there's the footage. They don't have footage of them doing that. Like they have footage, but they don't show any footage of them flying over Antarctica. And
Right.
if you actually have a look at their claimed path that they did, which I call bullshit on, even if we look at their claimed path and assume they did do that, they, you know, I'll post it in the side chat. 1 second. So, 1 second. Here it is. So, which other ones does it say? It says One More Orbit and the Pan Am one. Is that the only ones it's saying?
It's saying there's three. So the 1977 Pan Am Flight 50, the Antonov An 124 1990, and the One More Orbit 2019.
Okay. All right. Well, let's investigate those then. All right. So here's the flight path for One More Orbit. So clearly that one didn't do it. All right. So this is from their website. And there isn't footage of them doing this. There's some footage. Most of the footage shows just footage inside the plane, not even looking out the windows. Shows some footage of them landing at some airports. It doesn't show them footage of flying over Antarctica. Right, and look at the flight path. They didn't do a great circle. They didn't do that at all.
Ouch.
So, all right. So, what's the next one? The Pan Am. Flight 50 or something?
Yep, Pan Am Flight 50, 1977. Says they flew into the South Pole from Africa and exited toward New Zealand.
All right. Well, we would need some footage of that, right?
Yeah. I doubt they're going to have that.
Oh, well,
In 1977.
what they didn't have video cameras back then?
Well, I guess they did in 77. Don't know that they really, they didn't. Did they have camcorders even then?
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, I suppose they had. But I thought they were not as compact and manageable as today. But maybe they did have little versions with the bigger TV crew style ones. Well, you'd think they'd even take a TV crew, TV crew equipment with them. I don't know, maybe.
If there's no footage of anyone actually doing it, then why should we believe it? All right, I found a video about that one.
Yeah. It is just a story, isn't it?
Yeah. Here we go. Here's a documentary about it. All right, here's the path they're claiming in the documentary.
What the heck, bro? It just skims over the edge of the South Pole. All right. So they're saying that the way that is on a globe, that's a great circle, is it?
They're trying to say,
That means it's not perpendicular to the equator, then. Like Fram 2 was claimed to be. It's off by a few degrees.
oh, hold on, check this out, T-Dub. This is out of the documentary.
Yeah, see, they could say that, like, they could project that onto the globe and say, yeah, it's technically a great circle, right? A little wonky, right? But it just wasn't perpendicular to the equator. They're going to say. I mean, yeah.
So panning through the whole video, there's one tiny little shot of them looking out the window and it looks like ice.
So verdict works on flat.
I mean, it kind of looks like they just kind of crossed over a little bit of Antarctica. I don't know. Hold on a second, because it's kind of hard to tell when you've got this Mercator projection.
Yeah, that's what their graphics are showing. I mean, you know, like Dave Weiss had put this in the works on flat basket. He put it in there, you know, because it skims over that little peninsula. If you were comparing it to, the AE map, right, you'd want it to not do that, right?
Right, so this is what they're claiming was the path on a globe.
Well, that's a lie. That's not what their Mercator map shows at all.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to align with what they're showing us, right?
No, that's too perpendicular to the equator. That's not what they're claiming. They were off by a lot. They didn't.
Right,
They didn't reach the South Pole. No, that's not what it'd look like on their Mercator projection. Their Mercator projection, and that doesn't match.
All right, here's someone's put it on an AE map apparently.
Okay. Right. Yeah. I see. But no, their projection onto a globe, that's dishonest. That doesn't do what it shows on the Mercator. They were off. It says specifically says they flew into the South Pole from Africa at approximately 20 degrees east, and exited toward New Zealand at approximately 170 degrees east. So the Mercator projection, the Mercator map flight path is not showing, that's not the South Pole, is it? Really? That's their South Pole on the Mercator projection? That's what they call the South Pole, that tiny little portion?
Yeah, that's what they call
And
it.
cut. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Is that even a Mercator projection? It looks kind of weird.
I'm not sure.
How is that a Mercator projection? Because in the Mercator
Actually,
projection,
yeah.
and Antarctica doesn't look like that in the Mercator projection.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is actually.
Here, just to make it even more confusing, here's someone else putting it onto an AE map. Check this one out.
What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah, how is that what they're showing on this globe? Hold on a second. Take a side by side. Like the features on Antarctica aren't the same in both of these pictures.
Okay. All right. It's just got even more interesting because I asked it. All right. So all those that passed, right, as in they passed the test, held as close as possible to the same longitudinal path. And said, actually, no. In the world of aviation, as close as possible to the same longitudinal path is almost never done, even on record-breaking runs. While these missions pass over 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south, they almost always shift longitudes significantly between the two poles. If you stayed on one longitude, say the 0 and 180 line, you would be flying over empty ocean for the vast majority of the trip. Here's the intellectually honesty breakdown of how they actually fly. The S-curve. Aviators don't fly a single great circle. They fly a series of connected great circle segments. To keep the forward motion you asked about, they enter the pole from one side and exit the other, but the longitude they use to reach the North Pole is usually different from the one they use to reach the South Pole. Pan Am 50 crossed the North Pole moving from the UK toward Alaska, 0 to 150 degrees west, but crossed the South Pole moving from South Africa toward New Zealand, 20 degrees east to 170 degrees east. The goal, they aren't trying to say stay on one line of longitude. They are trying to minimize total time. To do that, they have to zigzag to hit specific airports for fuel. The true longitudinal path surface, the Trans-Global Expedition Fiennes is the only one that attempted to stay on a single longitudinal path. Because they were on the ground, they couldn't just jump to a different continent. They followed the Greenwich Meridian as their track. Even then, geography forced them to deviate. You can't walk in a straight line. Through the middle of the ocean, they had to follow coastlines and ice shelf edges. Bam. The only perfect path, Fram 2. That's Fram 2's yeah, that's it.
All right, so I looked up just a like a general picture of Antarctica on the globe, and now I'm gonna put this little section of Antarctica that they flew over next to it in Canva. Check this out, Tito. Something doesn't add up here. So you there?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So the one on the left, I reckon this one's been made by some anti-flat earther for sure. Right. So that's the path that they're claiming that this flight took. Okay. Then the one in the middle is from the documentary about the flight, saying that this is the path they took. And then if you have a look at the one on the far right, that's just a random map of Antarctica on the globe from Google. Right. So it looks like they just took like they didn't go over Antarctica. Right. Most of Antarctica, like if you cut out that little section that you can see there, right, most of it's missing. Most of Antarctica, they didn't go anywhere near the core, like the center of Antarctica at all.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's right.
So when we see these pictures where it shows the red line like kind of going over Antarctica like that, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. That's some anti-flat earther that's lied, plotted it out like that. It's not even the path they claim to have taken.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it looks like they're just settling for like we're just going to say that we reached like they're just South Pole is just really they're just saying Antarctica. We got to Antarctica. Like there's
It's
not
like
even
they
any
just-
grid lines on that map.
Yeah, it's like they did like just a little flyby over the like you can
Right.
just take those commercial flights. It's like you can go from Australia and it'll fly you over, or from New Zealand, and it'll fly you over a tiny little section of the edge of Antarctica. It's kind of like what they did.
Yep. Yet the Google AI is like being somewhat honest, right? When I ask more questions, but it's still trying to claim that the Pan Am went to 90 degrees south.
All right, so far it's given us 3. It's given us one more orbit. That one's pretty easy to debunk. That's been debunked a million times, right? Because clearly they did a U-turn basically when they hit Antarctica, and they only just flew over a tiny little section of it, even according to their own map, which they don't have footage of them doing either. Right. Next one was the Pan Am one. You know that they
And
just
then there
flew
was-
over a
yep.
tiny little edge bit of Antarctica with that one.
Yep.
And then what was
The
the
other
next
one was the
There
Antonov.
Antonov.
Yeah. 1990, I think it was. Yeah, also called AN124. Or AN-124.
Okay, anybody got any globe evidence? Go ahead. Anybody?
Not at the moment. DJ and I are just taking a dive into some of these claimed to be north to south polar navigation attempts.
Cool. Find anything interesting? Besides, they
Yeah,
actually didn't do it.
Inconsistencies with stories, inconsistencies with them plotting the path out on different map projections. No footage of what they claim to have done.
They basically
Yeah.
go down and hit Antarctica, then come right back up.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
vice
they
versa.
just
It's the North. I mean,
they just
they
fly
do fly
over
across
like
the North Pole. That makes sense. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly what happens. They seem to they do they cut over a little bit of Antarctica and kind of turn around and and there's not even footage of them doing that, really. It's just a claim.
Yeah, if more people knew just that one fact that they've never done that north-south thing, we'd be in a lot better position, But that's what makes it so obvious that we're not involved. I mean, that was one of the main things for me. But 10 years ago, it's like, why has nobody ever done that? Billions of people have done east-west. Nobody's done north-south, you know.
So we kind of debunked the first two that were on P-Dub's list. Now we're trying to do this last one, which was 1990, some Russian airline or something like that. So
You already did the most recent one, the one more orbit one, because I know somebody debunked that one anyway. But
yeah, one more orbits. Yep, that one's debunked. That's easy. Well, I mean, just even just
down and work and bounce straight back up anyway.
Yep, and then the other one's the Pan Am Flight 50 or something like that. And then, can you see the side chat, Dave?
I can look at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so at 48 minutes after the hour. Okay, so when you look it up, you'll find images like the one on the left, and it kind of looks like this is the path they took over Antarctica. Well, that's bullshit, right? Because if you have a look at the second one on the right, I looked up the documentary from the 70s when they did this, and this is the path that they're claiming that they took in the middle image, right? Just dipping over that little peninsula, basically, right? And then the image on the right is just a random picture of Antarctica on a globe, right? So if you have a look at that little bit that they flew over, it's missing most of Antarctica, and it's absolutely nothing like the image on the left that has clearly been made by someone like a anti-flat earther or something like that.
Yeah, and doing it that way, they can sort of claim that they actually did travel across Antarctica, if that makes a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is one of the ones where they're claiming that they kept going south and they flew all the way around the globe, kind of thing. But it's bullshit.
Yep.
Where the hell did you talk to P-Dub at?
Who, me?
Oh, DJ, where did you run into P-Dub?
P-Dub? I'm talking to T-Dub.
P-Dub.
I thought you said P-Dub.
Who's P-Dub? Sounds like a rapper.
He's an anti-flat earther on Twitter that hangs around McZoon and Slice Parkane.
I try to forget anti-flat earthers, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's important to know who they are, right? Like even with Ozian, like I don't know if you know the story with Ozian, but even he turned out to ring true with the more degenerate they are, the more anti-flat earth they are.
It's a mental condition for a lot of these guys. I'm not saying anybody personally, I'm not pointing anybody out, but it's a mental problem that they're having. They won't let go of this globe and space and all that shit. I kind of feel sorry for them in a way, but you know, they don't need to behave like they do on the internet. People that come on here and are clowns and are dishonest, I got no time for them, you know. I hear DJ say that to them all the time.
Not like how DJ calls them out. They're just being dishonest, man. He sounds like Simon Cowell.
So this whole panel of people, nobody wants to take up the banner for the globe right now.
I will. The fact that you're talking to us is proof that satellites are in orbit.
Oh, okay. Who wants to do satellite? Go ahead.
And then when we can't hear you, it's because the satellite went away. We're waiting for the next satellite to pick you up.
So did you say you already debunked all 5? Was there 5 of them, DJ? Or how many were y'all doing?
There was a bunch, right? So first AI, like it tries to get you. It gave T-Dub this giant list of north to south circumnavigations, and then T-Dub pressed it a bit further as he's like, oh, Like, did they actually like cross over? How many of these actually crossed over Antarctica and kept going around? And it's like, oh, well, most of them actually just got to the South Pole and just turned around and left the same way that they came in.
That's wild. Why would you
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
around?
Yeah, yeah, and then
It would
Tito's,
have to be a documented flight over 90 degrees south and keep going that way. You know, don't change your direction. Go directly
Yeah,
over 90
exactly.
degrees south and keep going. Pop up
And
on
film-
the other side.
yeah,
Whatever
and
it is.
film it. They got to film it, right? They can't just tell us they did it.
Here's the wild
Basically,
thing, right?
the whole list that T-Dub got at first is all people that went to Antarctica and then came right back up. But they claim they crossed it. You know.
Here's the wild thing, right? If you were swimming across the river and that river was a mile wide, and you knew you were halfway across the river, but you felt like you couldn't, that you weren't going to make it, which way would you swim?
I'd turn around and come back, man, just like they do in the airplane, right?
Like, why would you, if you made it halfway, you felt like you're going to drown, and you had to pick a direction to go, would you go back or would you continue forward at halfway?
I would say 99.9% of all logical humans would continue swimming the direction they're going. If you knew the other beach is only a other half mile away, right? Why would you ever turn around?
That's
Good
it, man.
point. Whatever's beyond the point that they actually flew to is what they're hiding. Is part of what they're hiding. I know I'm speculating, but it ain't like it. They did all this discovering of lands, and then they told everybody about all these lands. There's a lot of shit we don't know about. Total speculation.
Well, they say like the lady that went all the way around Antarctica, I think, circumnavigated Antarctica, was an actress, and she did it in 90 days.
I don't remember that one. What was her name?
I don't remember. I just like.
What year was it? You don't know, do you? Seems
Once I
like
hear
generally
actress
speaking, people are getting
Freemason,
less. Sorry, I was just going to say real quick. Seems like people are getting less enthusiastic about defending this globe idea, but that could just be a speculation impression I've got. Anyway.
yeah, there you go. Over the fences. Over the fences shows it. But yeah, no. Every time I hear actress or Freemason, I can automatically dismiss that what they did. Like I can just dismiss them as being untruthful, and they're going to have to give me all the evidence, not just a story.
Yeah, they have to document the physical reality of what they're doing. You know, it's obvious they can go down there and come right back up. We know that. Just like they know the general gullible public will just believe oh yeah, we got these hundreds. Like whatever T-Dub got in his first search, everybody just they might look that up and it's like, these flat earthers are crazy. All these people have done this north to south thing. And that's the last time they think about it, right? For what it's worth, I just noticed that the date is 2626, if that matters to anybody. And it's still not a globe. Somebody prove me wrong.
Do 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 do. Who else in here?
What song is that anyway? Dead Air Days.
hey, India, what's up, man?
Right, now I've got that.
Business.
What song was that? I didn't hear it. He was.
I don't fucking know, dude.
Hey, have you been listening to the stream?
I listened for a second. I heard you guys going over the one more orbit or something.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going over all of the different claimed north to south circumnavigations one by one. It's super inconsistent, man. It's crazy. And it's like anti-flat earthers are lying about when they plot the path out that they said they took. right? So the best one that they seem to have is the Pan Am 1977 one, and just
That's the
because,
best.
yeah, that's the best one.
When they were $4 billion in debt and about to go into bankruptcy, and they needed something to revive their company, and
Yep.
yeah, that's the best they got.
So check this out. So it seems like the anti-flat earthers or someone like that, because if you look it up and you look at the flight path they took, there's these images that make it kind of look like, see what I posted in the side chat? The left one.
Oh, yeah.
The left image, that's what you get when you look it up on and hit images on Google. And it kind of looks like that's what they did. Right. But then I looked up the documentary and took a screenshot of the path that they claim to have taken in the documentary. And it looks like they just kind of cut over that little peninsula there of Antarctica. And then the image on the right is just a Google image of Antarctica. So it looks like most of Antarctica was completely skipped. And it doesn't look anything like the left image that they're telling us this is what they did. It's another one that's just bullshit. And there's no footage of them.
Oh yeah,
actually.
they just have them like taking off with like, it was a bunch of celebrities, right? Celebrities, business people, and I don't know, they paid some ridiculous. Well, some people were paid to be on it, like the celebrities, but then there's other people that obviously paid, and they paid to be on the flight, and it was just like they filmed them partying or whatever, drinking, and it's just it's a advertising.
Exactly. That's what it seems like.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Pan Am was also the company that was selling the first moon flight club. So
Indio, didn't they go bankrupt pretty quick after that? What year was that? Didn't they go bankrupt pretty quick after that, Pan Am?
No, they were about to go bankrupt. They were like at the verge of bankruptcy. There was something like $4 billion in debt, and then that kind of like revived them for a little while. And then they went bankrupt. Didn't Pan Am go bankrupt during the Reagan era or something?
I'm trying to remember. I can look it up here in a second.
Yeah, I'm going through it. Let me see real quick. God damn, it's a long ass wiki article. Yeah, no fucking way. You can't make this shit up. Financial, operational, and reputational setbacks. This is from Wikipedia. This can't be the same guy. Ugh, it is the same fucking guy. Unfucking believable. In 1987, Towers Financial Corporation, led by its CEO Stephen Hoffenberg, and his consultant Jeffrey Epstein. Can't make this shit up.
No, it could be a different Jeffrey Epstein.
Take over Pan Am in a corporate raid with Towers Financial as their raiding vessel. Their bid failed. That was in 1987. Bro. And it's... I
gotta be a different Epstein, right? Indio. Come on, man.
Dude, you can't make this crap up, man. It's a cartoon, I swear to God. We're living in a cartoon. What are the odds? Like, we're going to debunk Pan Am as scammers, and then Jeffrey Epstein comes up. Well, that seals it. That was easy.
All the world's a stage, isn't it?
My goodness. What year did they do the circumnavigation?
Which one?
DJ? The Pan Am one.
77. 77.
Well, from their revenue passengers per mile, so between 75 and 79, so it has like the revenue passengers per mile flown, and it goes from 16,000 And then in 75, it went down to 14,000. So they're going in the wrong direction. Then boom, back up to 22,000. Yeah, it's a marketing gimmick they did. That's how I figured it. Just, who can confirm it? You see the plane take off. Yeah, we'll be back. We're going to fly around the world. They just come back 3 days later. Yeah, we flew around the world. They declared bankruptcy in 1991. I knew they were around for a while. But man, Jeffrey Epstein, this guy is everywhere.
Yeah, so basically with all of the north to south circumnavigations, right, none of them are even claimed to have kept going like along a line of longitude or anything like that. The only one that they are saying did do that is the Fram 2.
I'm not familiar with the Fram 2.
Yeah, it's in the side chat here. All right, so you want to check out how much curvature that they had from that height?
Tram to the movie.
Yeah. So it's like an orbit. So they reckon that they did like 12 orbits or something like that around the globe, 90 minutes or something like that per full orbit, and the curvature's all like warped out, right? Kind of like egg shaped.
Is this Fram 2? Is it an aircraft or is it something like the International Space Station?
It's like the International Space Station, and like it's meant to be doing an orbit. It's like a capsule.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just
that's what I was going to ask you guys. Remind me, what is their official excuse that the ISS doesn't do this all the time? They have some official excuse. I can't remember what it is.
I was just listening to the footage. Sorry, Dave.
I was just saying, if the ISS is up there, they could do it north to south all the time if they wanted to. But they've got some reason they don't, right?
I was just listening to the footage in the thing and the girl in it, right? So this is the scene that she's looking out the window, right? It's kind of weird. We could see this much curvature, but anyway, she's like, "Oh, I can see the launch pad. I can see the launch pad."
Did she fuck? Is she the bionic woman?
Yeah. It's at like 43 minutes 30 in the film.
Okay.
Nice bionic woman reference. I like that.
Fram 2. I've never even heard of that.
No, neither have I.
It's claimed to be the only pole to pole, like full circumnavigation that went perfectly around doing a great circle. Yeah.
Who did it? NASA?
SpaceX.
Oh.
So it's really kind of recent then.
2025.
Wow.
Boy, Elon, he nailed it, boys. Way to go, Elon. Way to go.
Yeah. Hi, Elon. Thanks for listening.
I'm just like skimming through, looking through the proportionality. That's like, okay. Is that Florida? That's like Okeechobee or whatever it is. It's way too curvy for that to be Earth ball. Unless Florida is like absolutely gigantic.
Josh was in here the other day, and he's saying, "Well, it actually fits just right. That's how big it would look, because when you're really close to the globe, things look bigger."
What? Yeah, but it wouldn't be that curvy because you're too close to the globe. Like what? He's ill.
Yeah, that guy's a mess. You know, the other day, what was he saying? Oh, he was saying some of the dumbest shit, and then you just look it up, and he says it confidently. Something about X-rays from the sun. He said they I forget what he said, but I just looked it straight up. I'm like, that's not right at all. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see it. I can see it on that point. Right. And then the other day he was waffling on about Velcro, and he was so proud about how amazing it was that NASA invented Velcro. Looked it up. It's like, they didn't invent Velcro. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see it on that one. Yeah, I was wrong about that. The guy is a freaking
liar.
Cool.
No, he's a liar.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time in the beginning getting anytime someone can especially because he first started coming over on the politics, and he spent a lot of time trying to he would get indignant if anyone questioned his honesty, and which is what I expect actually honest people to do, but it's so many times now that he's just been caught straight up making shit up that I can't. That's just an act. No way. I mean, I don't know how many times he's been caught now. Like it's like 20, 30 times now.
I told him the other day I can't say Josh Ingersoll.
Josh in making
him.
actual
yeah, no,
statements.
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I gave him the benefit of doubt, which I usually don't give Glover, so I gave it to him for a long time because he insisted. That's the one thing. He said this when he first came around. The one thing I don't do is I'm not dishonest and I don't lie. Well, I mean, usually that's a red flag when someone goes out of their way to say that.
Yeah.
But I go, okay, I'll take people, especially if they say, listen, man, I'm dishonest, I don't lie. But as soon as I catch you, that's it. That's a wrap, man. Like, you just literally lie twice because you said you're dishonest and you don't lie, then you lied, so that's two lies.
You filled yourself up to that standard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
He didn't qualify and say, well, sometimes I exaggerate, sometimes I,
That's what I was going to say, Indio. Guys like they don't count making shit up about space and satellites. That's not really lying because they know it's a globe and there's satellites going around and stuff. So he's just kind of embellishing it a little bit, right, in his mind.
He's definitely has instant expert syndrome. For I called him out last time I was in here because he was like saying stuff so matter of factly, stuff that we had asked him earlier that he said he didn't know because that wasn't his specialty. Now he was talking about the same things as if he does know now personally that he has primary information. Where no, he just read it somewhere he's like, I went and researched it. Yeah, well, you still don't actually know. You just like, hey, they have questions. I'll go find the standard bullshit answer, and then I'll say it as if I have personal knowledge of it. Oh, that Las Vegas sphere. I got a picture of that thing. I didn't take it, but it's pretty cool. No, I just posted. This is actually to scale. This is actually correct. I took this image, loaded up in GeoGebra, overlaid a circle on it, and then changed the scale to 3,959 mile radius and did all that. So, yeah, that's. I just can't even believe Jeffrey Epstein was involved in Pan Am now. We didn't have any idea who he was. We're doing corporate takeovers of a freaking national airline and nobody knows who the guy was. Give me a break.
Well, we needed an airline to get to and from his island, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to mention the thing about the one more orbit. I mean, I don't know if it was on his own channel or his current channel. Antonio Subaratz watched the live stream, and they never went over Antarctica. According to their own path that they were showing, their own GPS projection on the Mercator map, they never went over Antarctica. They changed the thing that they had on the website was their projected flight path, but they had a flight path that they were showing during the live stream of what was supposed to be their GPS position, and it never went over Antarctica at all. I don't know. I'd have to look and see. When was the one more orbit?
Kind of recently, within the last
2019.
Yeah.
2019. Let me see if his channel. I mean, he went through a few channels because you know how the fucking Globers are.
Mm.
They'll just strike that shit.
That'd be interesting to see though, because all I see is what I presume would be the projected kind of route, because that kind of goes over Antarctica and does a couple of, I think at least 2 dog legs. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I'd like to see it for sure.
What month? What month you guys say? The date of 2019?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
His first video on that channel is January 19th, 2019, so it might still be on there.
Okay, if we're flying from pole to pole and we're doing it, won't one be in darkness? No pole is illuminated at the same time, right? 6 months here, 6 months there. If you're going to go pole to pole, one of them's going to be in darkness, right?
Yeah, it said that's what they experienced.
Okay.
Right.
Just making sure.
They would get from one pole to another pole in 45 minutes.
Really? Wow.
That's the claim. Yeah.
45 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, July 2019, India.
Okay, then it's on here. Let me see.
July 9th to 11th.
Man, Yoder already had it. Word, Yoder. You on it. So I timestamp. So what he basically shows is what they advertised the route, and then the route that they were showing. You only got to watch about 30 seconds. Then he goes to the website and shows the route that they were showing that they actually took, and it's nowhere even near where Antarctica should be. Holy shit, yo! Did you index his whole channel and summarize it?
Yep, he did.
You mother!
That's brilliant, eh?
Damn, you're quite industrious.
I've also got copies of them. The ones that are indexed that can't be downloaded, yes, they can be. So if anyone wants them, just give us a yell.
Oh yeah, you can. If you use Jade Downloader, you can download entire channels, no problem. It's called Jade Downloader 2. You just you hit add link and just add the channel link. It'll download all of them. Though Jade Downloader's organizational part is kind of shitty. It'll give you a bunch of folders. Did you do that with Notebook LM? Is that the one we were talking about? I didn't think it ever worked. Nice work, Yoder. Yeah, I see it. I did it with the API. Yeah, nice. Awesome. See, these large language models are good for stuff. Not giving dating advice is not, don't use it for that. But it's good. I think the AIs or the large language, they're good for automating like arduous tasks that are repetitive.
Yeah, they're good at doing menial things that we don't want to do.
Exactly. You know, I was talking to Dandelion about this, like whether the AI is gonna it's going to do one or two things, I figure. Either it's going to automate the menial tasks that you could do, right? So, for instance, if I have a lawnmower and I want to know how to change the lawnmower blade, I can look at the lawnmower, flip it over, look at the model, check out the blade, start Googling around for the freaking model, then for the instruction manual, then find out how to replace the lawnmower blade. Or I can take a photograph, upload it to the AI, and the AI does all that search and shit for me. And I don't have to do any of it. And in 3 minutes, it tells me exactly what I have to do. So I can go do more productive things. Now, that's one solution, one possible utility of these AIs. Or the other one, where the AI does the thinking. You know what I mean? Where like it isn't doing like it either makes everybody go like revert to the mean, where where everybody starts believing the AI is holy fucking writ, and no matter what comes out of its keyboard or whatever it is typeset, people think that's the gospel truth. Then that will be a problem.
It might just take the whole human interaction out of it, where you don't even have to replace the lawnmower because it's AI, because it's robot. You leave it alone, the replacement will be with you in 24 hours. So the whole idea of you being even involved with maintenance of something, they'd probably even take that away. So that removes cognitive function, right? If you're not getting down to repair it, right, you can ask AI how to do it, and you can go and you can do it. You can get your tools out and whatnot, or you don't. It just replaces itself, doesn't it? No need for maintenance. Not from you, anyway, the consumer. It's got to be simple and easy, right? So yeah, I don't think the AI would give you the instructions of how to do it. I think the AI would just replace itself.
I think it's either going to augment human expression, or it's going to replace human expression, and we're going to revert to the laziest mean. Where, oh, I don't want to do it. Let the AI do it, like you said. Or we're going to let it do the menial tasks that we could do that we don't want to do, and then with that extra time, actually do something exceptional. I mean, I'm sure some people will do that.
Yeah. I was talking to my cab driver the other day, and he was talking about the automation of taxis and so on within large cities before, I think, 2035 or something. So within the next 10 years, the majority of taxis will be automated, driverless. I mean, some people really enjoy driving, some people don't, but that's kind of being taken away as well.
I mean, the car thing is tough because as far as like predicting what's going to happen, because there's always the legal part of it. Who's responsible for the accident?
Yeah, that's what my driver was thinking about as well.
The car manufacturer, the dude that's in the car, the people that made the road. Who's responsible for the accidents now? And now what are they going to use for an excuse to pull you over? They won't have one.
Yeah.
Hey everyone. Hey India.
What's up, security?
Hey, I don't have a lot of time. I just wanted to say what's up, guys. Hope you're doing well.
I am. How about you?
Good. You blew my mind the other day. Thanks a lot.
All right.
I appreciate your outlook on the metaphysical was a topic I wasn't expecting, and since then I had been thinking on it.
I was actually thinking about it again myself yesterday, just like, why has it got to be either or? Why can't it just be both at the same fucking time?
Exactly.
Which is the way it actually is, right? It's like that is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
nothing is as it seems.
You see what you look for, though. So if you're just like in a materialist atheist, that's all you'll see. You won't see the other stuff. And if you're a woo-woo head in the sky, all you'll see is magical mysticism, and keep stubbing your toe on that thing over there in the corner, because you don't think the real world is real.
Yeah. Got to find a good middle ground. Hey, did I interrupt a topic you guys were having, or?
No, not really. We're just shooting the shit about.
Well, earlier I did come in and I was discussing. I was discussing the stars, and I used the wrong word. I asked for an explanation, but what I mean is, what's the story behind XYZ? I'm trying to reframe my questioning.
Well, what are the explanation thing? Like anybody, I can explain why Spider-Man exists, right? Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider, turned into Spider-Man with superpowers. So that's an explanation. Not a word of it's true, right? We can explain anything. They used to explain the sun by being Apollo's chariot. No. Now, explanations are one thing, but is there evidence for the explanation? Is that explanation the only possible explanation? That's where we get into weird. That's where it gets a little crazy. People have been explaining stars and the planets since the beginning of time immemorial. But who's right? Us now? They, them? They then? Way back in the past? Somewhere in the middle? Who's right? Which culture's right? Which group of people were right? Because none of that can be verified. If I want to know the composition of a star, how can I actually ever really know that? Now, I can believe a bunch of things. Well, observation? You think you can tell the composition of something just by staring at it?
No, I'm not a scientist, so.
Well, nobody can do it. You can't get that. Look, you can make what's called an inductive inference about what the composition could be, but you can't ever actually know for certain unless you go take a sample.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
I wanted to comment on that question you had before.
Sure.
For another question, I just wanted to say that you were asking about the luminaries, and Indio's points are on point, but the observation that you're doing on the luminaries does tell you something, not the material, what it's made of, but it does shows you, in my opinion, since the luminaries moving cycle, kind of like clockwork, it shows you some type of design, and it also shows you that observed phenomena that it can be described as a beautiful phenomena, and it gives you kind of like a design beauty in a sense. So it gives you kind of like a sense of the creator or the designer, has a sense of beauty. Then when you look across the earth, you also see the sense of beauty of the creator, including with the luminaries, the order in place, and the whole creation with it. So yeah, the luminaries kind of like give you a sense of, I will say, some type of design, but you cannot go there and check what is that design made of. Not like down here that you can actually check stuff. Go ahead. Also give you a sense of wonder. That's
security bounced.
Oh, security does that.
Yeah.
She does that often.
I think she thought that was some sort of gotcha, and I'm not sold on her veracity.
No, she came in and asked a similar sort of question earlier when I was around, speaking about the stars and kind of, how do we explain them? I kind of told her, like you did, that we don't.
We can.
But
we can make some shit up right now on the fly.
Yeah, but I was kind of leading her to the idea that whatever the sky is kind of, as Jamesy pointed out, it's wondrous, it's potentially got a lot of intent behind its design and so on. So I don't think she was coming in with some kind of gotcha. I think she was just looking for more clarity on the question she asked earlier.
She has a question because she's wondering about it, and that's one of the biggest wonders for most people. Most people, even from both sides, they wonder about the luminaries. And
most
she's
of
an
humanity.
example of it.
Yeah, most of humanity since the beginning of humanity. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they're inaccessible, right? You can see up. It looks like you can touch them, but you can't. You know what I mean? They're just so like that's the curse of humanity. You're gonna look up, you're gonna see those things. You're never gonna know. And even if space was real and they made the craziest fucking spaceship imaginable, they still can't get there and know. So
Yeah, it's all too far away.
and what is pseudoscience? Unfalsifiable claims.
Yep.
Prove they're not made out of hydrogen gas. Okay, how would I do that?
What if there's hydrogen gas up there? Then what?
I don't know. There could be. I don't know.
Yeah, but
The
you know
roller
they say
universe
if we do an analysis and we can look up and we can somehow tell the colors and we tell this color is hydrogen and then we look up and see the color and that's we say that's hydrogen, we have evidence that you're denying it. But I don't know. That's the kind of like the position they
yeah,
say.
but it's not that simple. They
Yeah,
try
it's
to
not that simple,
portray
yeah.
it. Yeah, they try to portray it as that simple that they're just like looking up in the sky at hydrogen, and hydrogen creates a certain spectrum, and it's like a fingerprint. No, it's not a fingerprint. A lot of times these spectrographs are smeared. They're not like what would you call it? Straightforward. You kind of have to interpret them a little bit. And then you have the problem of redshift and all that. So now you have your spectral lines and they're shifted in one direction or not. So you have to make the assumption that, well, this spectrum looks like this because all the freaking shit's shifted because it's this far away and it's moving this fast. And you know what I mean? But you're already starting from the assumption that it's hydrogen in the first place. And and they actually do a bunch of crap, which I actually found out recently. There's way more nonsense in it than even I imagined.
They have to add a lot of stuff. I mean, because you have a lab setting. So you have a lab setting where you can demonstrate light doing certain things to certain mediums, different gases, different mediums, and the light will give you. You can do those experiments, but how can you actually say it's the same thing as when you're looking up there? That's what I'm trying to mentally say. How can they go and get to that conclusion that it's the same thing?
Yeah, they don't know. I mean, they could if they even if they had one confirmation, they'd have a little more solid footing. But they don't even have a single confirmation, right?
Yeah.
Because they say that the stars is just another sun because of these spectral lines. So they're all the same or close to each other. But you don't even have the first confirmation to even justify the rest of the theory that all stars are suns and that suns do this and stars do this, that and the other thing. Yeah, you looked up, you saw the lights of the stars and they all look the same in similar spectrum to the sun. Similar. I'm not saying exactly the same because there's differences between the suns and the stars. But you don't have the grounding in the first place. It starts with an assumption. Like the whole globe, like we all know, no matter what part of it, or the heliocentric model, or cosmology, or astrophysics, no matter what part of it you bring up, when you dig down, it's founded on some assumption that they can't prove. Foundation is always wishful thinking.
Great guy once said, "It's the best explanation."
Yes, based upon the best explanation, based upon the variable evidence. But that all falls apart when you start asking them, well, how do you know it's the best one? How did you determine that? What's the metric for best that you're using? And then it just becomes subjective. Wow. I like this one. It explains the most phenomenon. What explains the most phenomenon? This mathematics. Mathematics don't explain, it describes. It describes the most phenomenon. Well, just because you put little freaking stupid names for the variables and say this causes, X causes Y, you don't know X causes Y. Actually, this freaking Neil deGrasse Tyson said, science is true whether you believe it or not. Crazy. I love what it says. A hypothetical gaseous chemical element proposed to explain certain spectral lines in the green glow found in the polar auroras. That was later to be explained by singly ionized oxygen. Now think about what that just said. It was found, and this goes right to what she just said. That was found to be explained, was later found to be explained by singly ionized oxygen. Why wasn't it discovered to be caused by singly ionized oxygen?
It is all very interesting. Like, one of the first things I noticed when I started looking up their spectrography shit, right, was that ground-based, there's actually, well, I don't know if any exists, but I couldn't find any analysis of, like, Jupiter, right, which in the spectral graph shows helium or hydrogen. There's like ammonia, methane, and some other gas. And I was like, okay, then why are we getting told that that's made of helium and hydrogen? Like, there's a lot of it there, apparently. And you also find out that certain emission lines can mimic, like one substance can mimic the absorption lines of another substance, right? Like, there's all you're right, India. There's a whole heap of shit
overlap. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap, and there's these things called Doppler line broadening and like all sorts of crap. So like, and then like complex molecules can totally screw. If there's any complex molecules intervening gas, then you know, it's complicated. And I never understood this part. Is that if the sun is a plasma, that means none of the electrons are bound to the nucleus of the atom. They're free, zipping around. So it's just protons and electrons zipping around. None of the electrons are actually connected to the protons, right? These are ionized protons. There's nothing there. Just like a soup. Plasma. Electrons disassociated from the protons. Well, according to the freaking quantum theory of light, light is created, well, with the wavelengths of light, like hydrogen, when the electron is bound to the nucleus, goes into the excited second orbital, and then relaxes into the stable orbital, and then it emits a photon of a certain wavelength. Well, if the electron's not bound in the first place, how can that even happen? Right? What you should have is, and what we do, like what we see the sun at least a little bit, is that it should just be noise. Be complete noise, because some electrons are being accelerated, because if you accelerate an electron, it'll emit radiation. If you decelerate an electron, it'll emit radiation. It's same with any charged particle gets accelerated or decelerated, it emits radiation. It's like a wake field in an electric field. It's like a wake that creates a wake that flies out. And because the electric field is changing, it creates a magnetic field, and that's basically a photon, so that goes off in the freaking into the solar wind or wherever the hell it goes. But the point is that they say the proof that the sun is, a nuclear furnace or whatever, is because like the hydrogen hyperfine lines, which is a certain emission spectrum for bound hydrogen, but there's no electrons bound to the hydrogen, so I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It never did. And they invoke all these fucking weird processes that no one's ever actually observed, like the triple freaking alpha reaction, all sorts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally a special fleeting fallacy.
Yeah, and they're so far from actually replicating stable hydrogen fusion.
Fusion. I think fusion is nonsense, quite honestly.
Yeah, but don't they claim that the sun has an atmosphere of helium and hydrogen? Like it's not plasma, it's gas?
I mean...
And that's how they can actually, even though it's a near-perfect black body, that they can actually bounce like radar off it and shit.
Well, I mean, plasma, gaseous plasma, freaking, it gets a little weaselly. They get a little weaselly and kind of like, they try to straddle both the properties of both states of matter at the same time so they can get the advantages of one, right? So they can make an argument, well, hydrogen gas emits this spectrum, but it's too hot. So, it's a hydrogen plasma. It's just... They can't reflect the fucking radar off the sun, dude. I had a Glober freaking say that in comments, dude, in one of the comments in a YouTube video. He's like, you're just saying nuh-uh. No, dude, I'm not saying nuh-uh. I'm saying, how did they measure the signal through the noise? Think about it. You bounce a signal off the sun with any type of radar array on Earth. 93 million miles, inverse square law. The absorption of the sun, whatever that is, right? How much it would absorb the freaking radar radiation. What the fuck is left? And how is that going to be more powerful than the emission of the sun itself? So that you'll even see it against that noise, right? That's like trying to light a match in front of a floodlight and thinking you're going to see the light from the match flame.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not. You're not, and this isn't even the frickin' match, dude. This is the reflected light from the match after it went 93 million miles.
It's probably that same sort of parlor trick that they try to pull with the whole fucking bouncing shit off reflectors on the moon.
Indio, it's actually probably even worse than that. As the gentleman that you were speaking to, maybe in the last week or so, said it's the refracted, reflected, dispersed something.
That was Talon X, yes. It's dispersion, reflection, refraction.
No, it wasn't Talon. It was some other kid. Talon's, was it? I don't think so. I thought it was some dopey kid that, was really trying. Yeah.
Talon was the one that was doing the Geodesy thing. Or no, you said you would you said you talked to him a bunch of times. So who was that?
That was Talon. But the individual who said this, I don't think it was him, man.
I thought it was. I mean, maybe it wasn't.
Talon's probably equally as dumb, if not worse, because of his arrogance. But this kid, that was funny, man.
Refraction. I thought Talon was the one who freaking the dispersion in the rainbow and all that crap. Wasn't that him?
He might have. But the guy that No, I think this was a brown recluse who said this.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Might, yeah,
Recluse, yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, because you guys were talking about the FE core tests, and he was arguing that the lasers, that were able to be seen from that far, it was because the light was doing all this shit, and he was just throwing all these turds at the wall, and
Like, why? What satisfaction they get out of that? Where, like, first, they can't form a coherent argument for the thing they're proposing in the first place, where it makes any sense. And then, even if you took that phenomenon and applied it to that situation, like, you can't do what they say it's doing, right? That would be like a very rare one. I mean, hypothetically, at the limits of freaking the physics, they could probably do it in some like extreme physical, in some extreme meteorological condition. But like,
not sure. But I think the tactic is more along the lines of, throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks, and maybe throughout the conversation, a door opens that gives you a glimpse at the sheer possibility that whatever they threw at the wall could stick, right? And that little bit of doubt, depending on how they word it or how the conversation goes, that ever little bit of doubt that emerges, that that you might be wrong because you didn't consider this one shiny little possibility, no matter how improbable, right? It gives them a cheap win. You know what I mean? Something like that.
yeah, I know. I understand. You don't know 100%. There's a 1 in 1 gazillion chance that there was a rare weather. That's why the FE core one's so awesome. Like, because they have to say, yeah, it happened again 3 weeks later. So, when I first started talking about that, for like 2-3 years, I didn't even notice that they did it twice, like 3 weeks apart. So it's like now they have to justify it not once but twice. How are they going to do that? When you have, especially when they have the meteorological conditions of the day recorded, right? Like, how are you gonna? But I mean, then again, they don't really care about justifying. Yeah. They're just doing FUD, the regular FUD tactics, to fear uncertainty and doubt. You can't be freaking 100% sure what you're saying.
It's the same. I get the same kind of response with the Black Swan, right? Like when that comes up and I'm around and I have a moment, I try to press them on giving all the details of all the necessary components that are involved in bending the light, right? Like I did the same thing with Talon, okay? Because they need to have all these constituent parts worked out to justify that they know that it's doing this thing, right? So what I've done with the Black Swan thing is I modeled it out using the Walter Bislin calculator. Right? Did you ever see this? Hold on. Well, I think so. I think. Well, I know you've seen the Black Swan and all that shit, but the work or the modeling of it using the Walter Bislin, I'm not sure if you ever saw it. Hold on, let me just post it quickly there. Basically, the calculator shows that in order to get the view that we get, it would require some enormously high K factor, right? So I press people. I'm like, okay, what's the necessary, all those fine details throughout the line of sight. Sample that, even sample at one mile apart. To start with, right? Something, some of these details that would warrant this observation, and they don't do it, right? Because but that's when the conversation turns into, oh, well, you know, maybe there could be, you know, all these, you know, just on the right day, you know, the right humidity, temperature, and air pressure, and, you know, temperature differential between the water and the air that could do this. You know, they just say that. And apparently, you know, that breaks a hole in the argument. It seems to be like that's what they think. You know what I mean?
You don't think they actually believe that shit, though, do you?
I don't think so. I really, really don't.
And why are they doing it? They doing it just to frustrate us. They doing it like to like just have a plausible excuse for the audience on YouTube, like
something like that.
Well, actually, it's an implausible excuse for the audience on YouTube.
No, but it's enough. It's enough because here we are. You know, we're talking our book, right? We're standing here all sure about what we're saying, and justifiably so. You know, but for them to get that one little kind of jab in there, it's enough.
Well, it's just like, you know, I that's why I try to flip it to them, dude. Like, if they say anything about you did this wrong, I say, okay, I agree. Tell me how we do it right then. Tell me how it's supposed to be done right. And they can never say how to actually do it.
I know.
They'll just mumble some generalities or look it up on Google or this, that, and the other thing. Well, then how do you know it's wrong if you don't know it's right?
Yeah, I think that's a good move, to be fair there. Because, you know, they're adopting the burden of proof when they call you out in whatever you say. Like, implicitly. You know?
Well, you know, the other thing is when they say, well, you know, could be refraction. Okay. They have to justify the refraction effect that they say is happening is even possible. No, because they need to show it's actually possible to do it, which they've never done.
That's the thing, right? So check this out, right? Just post it in the chat. You've probably seen this before. Well, that's what I mean, right? Check this out. In the chat, Ebens past the hour. Okay. This is that. You must have seen this map. But this is the black swan image from the 1 foot observer height. Right? And we see the oil rigs in full. Both of them. But the last one is the most important one, right? The 9.41 miles away. We see it in full. So according to this thing, you need a K factor of fucking 0.989182. It's like, is that possible to achieve? According to them, apparently. No matter how improbable. Well, how did you know you didn't just go out there on the right day at the right time to see it, you know, with that type of effect? That's what they do. And then somehow they win. Which is why I think what you were kind of hinting at before about repetition, repeating the thing multiple times, right? That's what whittles down that kind of argument. Because the likelihood, you know, it shouldn't be that high where you see things consecutively like that. You know what I mean? Like the odds of you seeing it once is already very low. But then think, you know, if you want to throw in like a little twist on it, you know, apply Bayesian reasoning to it. What's the likelihood of you seeing it consecutively as close, you know, as you do one day apart from each other or several days apart from each other, et cetera, et cetera? The odds go very, very low. shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they can't, and they also can't say the mechanism, only in a very general way. They just say, "Oh, refraction can do it." Yeah, how?
I know.
Well, how? You have
That's
to say. You got to say how it can do it. You can't just say it could. Yeah. Well, you don't believe in refraction? That's just shit you hear all the time. Oh, you don't believe refraction's a thing. Yeah, of course, refraction's a thing. But we're talking about very. Yeah, it's just, to me, like, I'm even getting pissed off even talking to you about it, because it's just bullshit, smoke and mirrors. It's someone literally trying to obscure the truth, dude. Actively doing it, trying to obscure, and they know they are. You tell me why someone intentionally would come on here and try to obscure the truth. Why? I mean, and I don't believe in the agent bullshit that fucking everybody flips out. Oh, they're agents in fucking the Discord or something. I don't even believe in that shit. But some of these people, their behavior, it like can only be like rationalized why it's even happening, is if they're fucking like being paid to do it. Why would you come in here? Listen, if Earth is not a globe, if you think Earth is a globe and somebody thinks the Earth is flat, why would you want to convince them based upon a lie or information that isn't truthful? Does just the ends justify the means? Is that it? Just keep believing the globe. Even we got to scare everything and bullshit. We don't care, just as long as you just stay on the globe.
But they think it's true, though, right?
I know, but the ends don't justify.
True, right?
Do the ends justify the means, bro?
If you're insane, if these people are either paid, like you're suggesting, they might be, or they're just really like there's something wrong in the head, man. Like Talon, for example, he's the one that blows me up, man. I'm telling you, I've had too many conversations in too short of a period of time where every time I lose my temper, and I don't like doing it. Okay. And it's hard to get me to lose my temper.
I know that. Look, dude, we'll just lay down the law with him. Next time he comes in here, he's going up on the witness stand, and we're gonna take him through step by step. And each step, nothing's gonna happen until that little step of rationally walking through the problem is resolved. We're gonna walk through it step by step. Okay?
I've been trying, man. Matrix and I worked on him a few weeks back, you know? You've seen my...
There's no taking no for an answer. As soon as he gets off, like, listen, bro, you get one fucking chance. The moment you walk off the fucking track onto somewhere else, you're banned. And just keep doing it every single time. Okay, where are we? Oh, yeah, we were on step 5. We're going to start there.
Yeah. I've attempted to do that last few times, right? I always like hint at, oh, you know, the India thing. Oh, yeah, the refraction thing. Oh, yeah, the you didn't give us the data of all these constituent parts thing. Yeah. You know, like I try to bring it back, you know, because of exactly that. It's too insane, man. Like, check this out. I don't know. Did you get a message from him anytime recently? I think DJ and I were talking. He mentioned he got one. Were you there? Did you happen to get a text from Talon in the last 3 days? 4 days? Check this out. Do I have it? Oh, hold on. He sent me a text. Wrote literally, okay. He sent a screenshot of some textbook, an older book. It looks like a screenshot of a page from it. He wrote, I didn't post the whole page. They literally say they take temp measurements. LMAO, y'all are so cooked. Lol. The Great Trig Survey keeps getting stronger and stronger. Okay.
Yeah, I got that same thing.
Oh, you got the same fucking.
Yeah,
did you read the page?
Yeah. I mean, let me see. I'll pull it back up. Where?
I'll post it in the chat.
So I told him. This is what I told him. I said, "Shut up, noob." and then I posted about 13 citations saying that terrestrial refraction is not quantifiable from, academic literature. And this is what this is. I wasn't going to get into it with them, but this page, they're telling you how they made the tables, not what they did during the surveying. You understand? Because it says straight up, refraction is had from the tables of mean refraction, and no notice is taken of the barometer and thermometer or the heights of stations above the level of the sea, considers doubtful, blah, blah, blah. With corrections for the micrometers were determined by taking runs between every dot, right? So this, from what I can tell, is how they came up with the mean refraction in the first place.
Sure.
Right? The tables. How are you going to make the tables? You got to make the tables out of something, right?
Wait, the mean refraction, or because when Talon and I were talking, he only talked about them basically averaging out the angles that they take, right? So you get an average angle from point A to point B, an average angle from point B to point C, or maybe even a reciprocal one back to point A, whatever, right? Then you all those averages, then you sum them, and then you're supposed to get a 180 degrees, right? But if you get over that,
that'd take days.
Huh?
That would take days to get a decent data set.
Well, that's another good point, right? Things change over a few days, right? But he claims because they take enough samples over the course of a few days from all points that it averages out enough, I guess, so far. Like, he's never ever posted any of the data, to justify this. But let's say, let's say, watch this.
Actually read any of this or understood it?
Probably not. But all he has been doing so far has been relaying our inquiries to him through ChatGPT.
AI,
and he's open about it too. That's all he does, right? So according to ChatGPT, this is how they did it, right? So even if we take it at face value that maybe, let's say, okay, between 3 points, you got a group of guys over there taking the sample on the same day as the other guys, and then they average it out. Even if that were the case, there's still problems. You know what I mean? Because you get an average excess. So maybe on average you get 181 degrees, 182, 180.5, I should say. Whatever the case may be, that 0.5 extra, that 1 extra, that 2 extra, degrees, the problem still comes in. How much of that is caused by what? The curve versus the light bending. And then how do you determine that? Proportionally speaking, right? And according to him, they can do some shit, but he's never been able to show. And that's where the frustration arises, man. It's like we've circled on that so many fucking times. Yeah, he just doesn't want to answer.
There's no light bending. No? That's the thing. There's no evidence of any light bending. Just because you expect to sight in on a certain freaking dot on your rod and you sight in either higher or lower does not mean there's light bending. Okay, that's just a jump to conclusions. Because there's other reasons you could be sighting in at that location. Deflection of the vertical. The curved plumb line and all that shit. That's one reason. Expansion of the fucking rod. These rods, it even says it in here, unequal heating cause them to expand on one side than the other. This is known. Okay, this is known. I've seen this in contemporary geodetic surveying stuff. Is that they should store their rods in their case, and then when they take them out of their case, they should warm them up. Right? They shouldn't They should only use them when the temperature is equalized, and then they should equalize the temperature to the rods because the rods themselves expand and contract. So
their leveling mechanism varies, basically.
Yeah, everything varies. It's not. This isn't an easy thing to do. I was saying, there's a lot of variables. Needless to say.
Yeah. That's another one, man. So how do they account for that
Saying
potential?
light's just bending. That's just stupid. It's just dumb, dude.
Well, I mean, light bending. I mean, you look at what Radwin posted. You know, like that phenomena of shit going up and down, waving, and all that. You know, if I were trying to sight the beach from that same position where the camera is, I would have to be angling it up and down. You know what I mean? So I get that. But it's just the way.
But the funny thing is, light's not rays. Light. There's no such thing as a ray of light. That's a concept.
I know. It's an abstraction. I know.
So So when you say light bending, you're talking about bending rays of light. There's no bending the rays of light. What's actually happening is the wave front of the phase of the wave is getting tilted. It's getting tilted either forward or backwards. And okay, think about it like this, right? So it's really simple. I mean, so say you had a fucking 12 by 12 tile, right? And it's coming right at you. It's freaking perpendicular to its direction, smacks you right in the face. So you got the entire 12 inches of the tile. Well, if the tile's tipped back or tipped forward, it's going to look like it's a different size, right? It's going to appear compressed or because it's tilted, right? And this is the same thing that's happening when I say wavefront. The wavefront is like the tile, right? It has a front, like a front surface. And like, I mean, that's the way you can think of it. But it's like, that's actually the way it excites the fucking molecules in your eye. So like, there'll be more excited freaking photoelectric fucking cells in your eye if it's straight up and if it's perpendicular to your eye, the direction coming toward your eye, versus if it's tilted. And that's what happens with this turbulence, is that the wavefront is changing its orientation. It's not bending or anything. It's just changing its orientation, kind of like wobbling. So it's like these words are kind of like
misleading.
They're being misused. In this context, I'd say they're being misleading, but the idiots that are using the words don't know what they mean in the first place. So they're not misleading anybody because they don't know what they're talking about. But they can be used misleadingly, I guess.
Sure.
Well, I got a good illustration of this. Anyway, my point was, Mick, is that, right, they do surveying. They got to survey India. They got to account for refraction. But somehow, when they go down the Himalayas and they go to the Bay of Bengal and freaking look across the ocean and they see some freaking Chinese junk halfway cut off, then refraction don't apply no more.
Yeah, I hear you. I remember asking or posing the scenario was, the, how you put it, mental exercise in the past. How can one tell between these two scenarios without the finer details? So say scenario one, you're on a flat plane, you look out, it looks flat, but then something changes and it looks curved. Okay? The light bends, wavefront tilts, whatever the fuck, right? Versus the contrary, or the other scenario, you're on a curved surface, you look out, it's clear, you see, the curved part because it's bending and, some shit's blocking some shit out, whatever. But then one day it's, it looks flat. Like, unless you have the known, unless you know all the details of what contribute to the light bending, right? And how,
Nick,
under what circumstances.
Nick, I know how to tell the difference.
If you have the detail.
I've talked about it. No. Like, listen.
No?
Listen.
Yeah.
Chromatic aberration, man. I've talked about this 100 times. Chromatic aberration.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't
So
see
if it
this.
was actually,
But if
if
you
it
were to
was
make
actually,
a camera, right? If you were to make a camera, say you decide, hey, I'm gonna make a camera, I'm gonna grind my own lens. Okay, let's take a picture. Hey, why is it all fucking rainbow looking? Oh.
yeah.
Well, because your refractive medium is too thick, you got heavy refraction going on. The blue takes a different path than the red, which takes a different path from the green, so you get 3 images. Okay, so correct your lens, grind it differently, and then you can merge these images. And okay, how can you do that to the atmosphere?
You can't.
How come that? How come the atmosphere is chromatically corrected all the time? See, it doesn't make any sense. So we should at least some of the time on these high refractive, extreme refraction days, especially over long optical paths, right? Especially the longer the optical path, the greater this effect is going to be, right? Because the more air it has to go through, the more distance it has to separate, right? So we have red going in one direction, green going in one direction, and blue going in another direction, and they're all getting spread out like a prism. Now obviously, the bigger the prism, the further apart the rainbow is going to be, right? The greater the rainbow. But we never see this. It's never been seen, never been reported. No one's ever seen. Damn, dude, I went out and I saw a freaking refraction rainbow. I went out and I saw the freaking the Willis Tower across the Chicago skyline looked like a rainbow. No one's ever said that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess what I was just highlighting was on like the naive, simpleton way of explaining.
No, Nick, the reason I say the reason I even brought it up is because they want it, like, because you brought up a good point. How can I tell the difference between, hey, a flat Earth that sometimes will look like a globe or a globe Earth that sometimes look flat? How can I tell which one it is? No, they just wanted to make it the whole thing unfalsifiable. They want to go, oh, you can't tell. The only way you can tell is you got to go on a rocket to space. That's the only way. You can't tell from the Earth, remember? That's what they want. They want you never to be able to tell what the Earth is from the Earth. They hate that idea. You have to go to heaven. Or, I mean, space. You have to go to space. Sorry. I misspoke. Or did I? No, you got to go to heaven. No, you got to go to heaven. That's the only way you can tell what the Earth really is. When you're in heaven, you can look down on the Earth and see the freaking little people.
So if given it's planar, right? The days where it looks like it's being cropped from the bottom up more intensely than it looks when shit just gets really far, right? We don't see chromatic aberration either, though. So is it kind of like
I don't think that's caused by refraction. I have never thought that. Because what do we see? We see like a little inferior mirage, which is a reflection. That's not refraction. What they try to say is that inferior mirage, and this is what they've always said, inferior mirages are caused by like the light dipping down into colder air, then coming back up and making a double image. So you see directly the thing and then the refracted light popping back up. When it makes like just more just common sense that it's just an actual reflection. They didn't know when they came up with the refraction thing about inferior mirages. They didn't know about things like total internal reflection. That wasn't even a thing yet.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, are all images of the kind that I was kind of talking about or hinting at, do they have mirror images? Because I thought I could swear that I remember seeing like one instance of the oil rigs, for example, where they look a little stooped, right? I don't think I remember seeing
that's one, but what I've noticed is sometimes they look magnified way in the background, right? So it'll like up to the horizon, there'll be like one like I don't want to call it a color tone, but it's something like that. Look, hold on, let me get the black swan. The other one, the frickin' the halfway cut off one.
Because DJ brings up and talks about a lot about the phenomena they've dubbed stooping, looming, et cetera, right? I think they're forms of what you were talking about. Inferior mirages or superior. I always get fucking confused between them all. I don't fucking know.
Inferior, right. Look, bro. Inferior means under, and superior means over.
Yeah.
So inferior is when the bottoms, right? So you have the city, and then you have the reflection of an upside down city underneath. The superior mirage is where the upside down city's on top. So underneath inferior, on top superior,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
So their tops would be touching, but the city would be above the real city. And if it's under the real city, then it's an inferior mirage. Both of those are like. Does it make more sense that they're just reflections to me? That's actually what they are? Because they're saying that there's a layer, right? A hot, cold layer, in that the light's dipping down into that layer and creating a double image. Well, that's also how reflection works. You have two different refracting mediums, and if the angle is small, it reflects off the boundary and creates total internal reflection, which makes more sense to me than saying the light is going into it and coming back out and making a perfect fucking mirror image. That doesn't even make sense to me.
And you're not the only one. I mean, people within academia are challenging the previously held mainstream idea of what's going on. There's publications out there about it, exactly what you're saying. Exactly. They are, at the moment, it is... The books are getting changed.
Yeah, the textbook's trash, bro. Like, they probably didn't know about it at the time they, came up with the idea for mirages, and it's just like something that just like keeps just going on and on and on until someone like gets the nuts to change it.
Right. Okay. So in these instances, we would see a double image. One reflected of the original. But what about we still haven't?
I know you're talking. I can't find. Yeah, I need the black. Oh, there it is. Matrix posted it.
Here's one we prepared earlier.
Yeah, you see how the back, the oil rig in the back. You see how like the color scheme looks different. It looks like faded or blown up. It looks like the oil rig in the back is like. How many? Isn't it like 3 miles farther?
No, I think that 3.
Yeah, it's like 6 and 9, right?
Oh, I heard.
Yeah, 6 and 9.
Sorry, I thought you said
6 and 9. Now, I
thought you said 30.
Why does it look the same size?
And not only that, but it doesn't look like it's tilting back either.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, that's a big problem.
Like that, I always wondered about that one. Like at that low of a fucking sink, man, like that's steep of a curve in 3 miles.
That's a tiny Earth, bro.
Well, that shit, I should be seeing that thing at a fucking like 20-degree angle or something from the looks of it.
Well, hang on. So the horizon's at 6 miles, and then there's curve, right? Like so. You've got an Earth with a radius value which is equivalent to whatever would produce a 6 mile horizon, right, from whatever altitude the camera is, and then you've got that the hidden target, right?
Yeah, but I guess the point though is
what's hidden?
It is a little bit faded. And it almost looks like around like the. I don't know if this is an artifact of the camera.
The size isn't right. Like the size, there's no way if it's that much further. I'm assuming these two rigs are like nearly the same size. Like,
I think so. I remember looking up one, like to do that modeling there in the Walter Bisling calculator. One of them is 94 feet, I think. I didn't check the other one though. But what I was going to say, like, if you look at the arms on this thing, the little, like the sides there on the cranes or some shit, right? The one on the left, if you zoom in a little bit, it almost looks like a little bit, there's like a pinkish, reddish cloud around it. Like a smudge kind of thing. Like zoom in a little bit. I don't think it's a camera. I don't know if it's a camera thing. It looks like a very, like a little bit of a smear or a smudge compared to the other one there. You don't see that as pronounced. Yeah, not as bad, not as much. See what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's even an inferior mirage on this one that Matrix posted. Because there's a discoloration right at the horizon. Here, let me see if I can pick it up with this.
Normally, chromatic aberration is more pronounced when you've got very specific lenses in your camera. Normally, the high-end lenses will have multiple group sets of glass, all moving in different spaces and different timings to zoom in and zoom out. This minimizes chromatic aberration, whereas some of the cheaper lenses have one thick, chunky lens at the front. You twist your lens, it moves further out, and you focus with it. Those ones with only one big, thick piece of glass will notice it more so. So if you're looking at images, you probably want to be looking at older stuff or stuff that's being used with shit lenses.
But is the chromatic aberration an artifact of the camera lens? Or is it an artifact of
it can be created? No, hold on. It can be created at the camera lens, but it should also be because camera lens is a refracting medium, right?
Yeah.
But so is the air supposed to be. So according to these guys, that the air is a refracting medium, but none of the effects that we associate with refraction, chromatic aberration, vignetting, that's where it's a dark around the edges and like bright in the top, like magnification, shrinking, right? We don't see any of this in nature. But why not? If the air is acting like a lens that's bending light here and there and everywhere, right, and flattening the curve, right? So if it's flattening the Earth to make it look flat, right, if it's like, if it was 7.6R, right, is what? A larger ball. Well, a larger ball is a magnified ball, right? So not only should it be, 7.6, the Earth should appear 7.6 bigger. Not just the fucking curve part, the waves, the shit that's out there, the boats, the fucking goddamn windmills. It can't just happen to just the curve and nothing else.
Right. Never has the air ever temporarily just so happened to correct my short-sightedness.
I know, right? That'd be great, though. Oh.
Yeah.
It's 2020 Vision Day today. All you short-sighted people, get out there and go surfing. Good day to shoot baskets, target shoot. Anything that involves shooting, you'll be good at today because now you can see the target.
Yeah.
I'm wondering there. So, checking out the photo from Jaeger Bruno. Well, the second, the last one, right, where it kind of shows that graphic of the colder air, warmer air, the vanishing line, and what happens when it kind of lowers or whatever. Yeah, you see the reflected image, right? But might there be scenarios where that reflected image doesn't reach your eye, but the phenomena kind of creating the kind of elevated horizon line or whatever still manifests, but between that part of the water in this scenario and your eye, it has another effect on that reflected image, so it doesn't reach you, so it just looks like it's one giant body of water.
what I think happens is that whatever you're looking at, like when you look out, especially over the ocean like this, is that it's not as continuous as you think. When I say continuous, I mean like vertically continuous, meaning like, say, the air right above the horizon, it could be opaque, right? There could be sea salt, frickin' sea spray, all sorts of shit. So light can't, that's beyond. So say you're looking out and the horizon's 5 miles away, say. But the light beyond that 5 miles, and say you have like sea spray right on the surface, if it can't penetrate that sea spray to where you are, it's going to effectively act as a wall, right? With a light beyond that, you wouldn't be able to see. It would just be a wall. But stuff like higher up, that might be transparent, more transparent. Or it could be freaking turbulent or refracting or reflecting or any number of things, right? And then stuff before that, like on the ocean itself, because you're looking at it more at an angle and you're looking into it, you know, that could be freaking just look normal. So it's like a combination, like, because, I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand that at the distances we're talking about, the way light behaves at these shallow angles is way different than where it just behaves at just a regular, because we're like glancing across the surface, you know what I mean? And the light is the light that you'd see is like coming in at like a super shallow angle. And that's where, but the thing is, super shallow angles are the reflecting angles.
Right. Yeah,
Right,
you remember that dive?
I guess they would interfere. They can interfere too, right? If there's a phenomena that kind of like, you know, redirect, you know, some part of the wavefront, it can kind of like cancel out the other part or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. And then there's destructive interference. So you could have like, it's called multi-path interference, right? So say you have the light coming in, right? But some of that light gets reflected off the surface. And well, that can constructively interfere on some boundary layer. When I say boundary layer, I'm talking about right at the surface. It's like, this is like the fallacy of the single cause. It's way more complex. That's why I start, like, I want to do this year of the observation. Like, if you guys have been following Pavel's dog, like, he's got these weird ass observations because he's been just going out there for like a couple of years. And like, in the mainstream narrative of what they say is going on, nothing that he sees makes any sense, dude. It doesn't make sense within their narrative. There's no possible. But I don't think anybody's ever gone out and consistently made observations of the fucking sea horizon that this guy has made.
Right. You remember that dive guy, Beethoven dude? The strange Aussie flat earther dude. You remember him with the pendulum in his kitchen and all that elaborate? You remember him?
What's his name?
Is Dife, DEIF or something, like Dife something or other, and then he was Beethoven. Anyway, like. Yeah, he posted one day. He posted this footage. I think it was amateur footage of someone had filmed the debris of a exploded fucking SpaceX rocket or something, right? So this thing's way up there and way out, right? And they're following the debris in the frame, and watching it go down towards the horizon. And this shit's on fire, right? And it fizzles out before it hits the horizon, right? And like, so you've got some options there of what happened, right? It fizzled out before it hit the surface, and you saw it fizzle out midair, or it's actually hit the water, right, just above the horizon. Like, so you've got that internal reflection thing going on.
Yeah.
So you're actually seeing more of the surface, and it's fizzled out in the water, or it's hit some sort of like you were saying, some haze, so it's gone behind the haze, and you just don't see it get to fizzle out because it's just the light's just not reaching you. But it was just interesting that, like, this is just amateur footage. They weren't even trying to capture that, right? Like that were just following the debris, right? Because it was a cool event, you know. This thing exploded. I caught it on film, you know. So yeah, it was like that. I'd say, like, my guess would be is that it hit the water, right?
Yeah, I think I know
That's
what one you're talking about too. It was
Yeah,
like
I'd
a
never
rock.
say.
It was like, yeah, this is way back, man. Didn't Reg Rhetoric do a thing on it or something?
I'm not sure.
About
Not
it
sure,
was
but
like a rocket launch that like freaking crashed, and they were like saying, or, I don't know, it was one of Elon Musk's reusable rockets.
Yeah, I asked him to post it again, and he never got around to it, and I never got to save it. Politics, where the chat gets wiped.
Hey, here, Mick, look in the chat.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this one?
No.
It's a clip. Just watch it real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, it reminded me of the dolphins one that AG posts a lot.
Oh
with the
yeah,
dolphins.
There's some seagull ones that are like that too. The seagulls just appear out of nowhere. They like dive down to like catch fish, and like one seagull appears like it's floating in the air on the water, but it's not on water, right? It's in the air, but it's like on the air because it's an inferior mirage. So there's like a seagull's like floating there in the air. Another one just like flies up out of nothing, right? It just appears in the air, like half a degree above the water, like. Yeah, man, but just like ships go over the horizon, man. That's it, man. There's a geometric curve, man. That's it.
Okay, so explain to me what I'm looking at here. It's a little bit vague. What's going on?
That there's a boat there. They're dropping cargo into the boat.
Yeah.
So there's an invisible boat on the left-hand side of the oil
It's
rig.
an invisible boat, bro. Do you think they're dropping the cargo into the ocean? Don't you see like it come up, like the reflection of it come up and meet it and then disappear?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, it's got the cargo, and then it hits a certain height, and then it kind of just there's a mirror, and then it just okay. Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, like refraction? I don't fucking think so, dude. That's not refraction. That is definitely caused by reflection, and because this angle, you got to think. If I calculated the angle from the crate, right? So you got two images, right? You got the crate and the reflection of the crate. Now the refracting, the boundary is going to be the halfway point between the two crates. If I calculated the angle between that point, right, that line, to the camera, that angle would be small, like super small, in the thousandth of a degree, in 100ths of a degree, or in the 10,000ths of a degree. Well, that's total internal reflection. That has like, even if you have a difference of, say, in refractive index of 1 in 20,000, right? Which is kind of where air hangs out. Like when you change a degree, the refractive index changes by about a 20,000th. And you just calculate what the angle would, the total internal reflection angle. It's freaking just like 2 100ths of a, or 2 1,000ths of a degree. So it's like, or 200ths of a degree. Is that right? 0.02? Yeah, 2 100ths of a degree. So the part of the problem is like people don't understand that, like at these very shallow angles that you're looking at long distance stuff with, their expectation of what light should be doing is wrong, because it's different because it's far away and you have these very shallow angles of the light traveling. It's just totally different, just the way it behaves.
I see.
So what I would bet, right, is that if you were out there in the ocean and you measured like to 6 feet above sea level, it would probably be like 3 degrees warmer, 3 degrees colder than like the 3 feet of like a meter. It's like say a meter above sea level would be like 1 degree warmer than higher than it. Well, the light that is above that will reflect off that boundary. Not refract, it'll reflect. There's a little app. I mean, you could just type it in. You like, it's called, it's a little physics simulation. Yeah. It says
Physics simulation, powder toy.
Yeah, it's just for refraction and refraction. Like you can just play around with it. You just change the angle incidence, and it'll show you the intensity of the reflected beam versus the refracted beam. When you start getting to what's called the critical angle, all the light's reflected. None is transmitted.
Well, it's like those floating ships, right? Or flying ships. Now, they'd have to be claiming, right, that there is a total internal reflection thing going on, right? But that whole scene is actually behind the Earth curve and being refracted up, so that the incidence of total internal reflection is being refracted into a position that you can witness it occurring. Because right, they can't just claim that that's refraction, that's light lifting the boat above the horizon, above the Earth curvature, and making it appear to be hovering in the air. Because otherwise, if it's going to show the part of the boat which would be sitting in the water, then it's going to show you the water that it's sitting in as well. It's not going to look like it's in the sky, right?
Right, exactly right. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, Goldberthers, well, at least the worst ones, are going to come in here, and they're going to try and obfuscate all this stuff. They want you to go, oh, in the textbook, it says frickin' it's caused by colder air on top and warmer air on bottom, and what, you think you're smarter than all the scientists?
Yeah, they can explain why refraction decided to just eliminate the water and just focus on the boat.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Did you guys were you guys in? I don't know if I was in. Yeah, I was probably in here. Maybe the home server. The frickin' what do you call it? Let me see. Naval Surface Warfare Center. Horizon Infrared Surveillance Sensor. Detection Range Performance. You guys heard of this yet?
No.
No? What's this?
Oh, shit. Okay. So, The United States government, on behalf of the U.S. Navy, decided that they were going to make something called the Horizon Infrared Surveillance Sensor, where they would try to detect, at the longest range possible, missiles, incoming threats, boats, you name it, right? They're going to use infrared sensors to pick up these things. So this report is detection range performance. So they're testing how far away they could detect. They first got a detection of their targets. Now their targets were TLX towed targets were typically conducted in a sequence of 4 inbound burn runs per day. The first run was usually around 200 feet altitude, and the next 3 reached lower altitudes, approaching the intended altitude of 30 feet. This figure shows the effects of a target's altitude as compared to the effects of atmospheric transmission in band over a 200-kilometer path on first detection range. In the top chart, and this is the important part, there is no apparent correlation between altitude and detection range. But if the Earth is a globe, how's that fucking possible? Altitude and detection range should be directly correlated.
Oh, yeah, because there's supposed to be a massive hump of Earth curve in the way.
Okay, well, it gets worse. Because this goes along with what we say. The longest detection range was at high altitude in the bottom figure. However, there does appear to be a correlation between atmospheric transmission on detection range. The longest detection ranges occur during the time of the highest infrared transmission. The shortest detection ranges occur during the time of the lowest infrared transmission. In the previous figure, it was apparent that on a single day, you could see the effect of altitude on reducing detection range. But if you look at all the runs, it appears that the TLX altitude was not the most significant factor on reducing detection range. Rather, the overwhelming factor is the change in atmospheric transmission from day to day.
Shocking.
Shocking. There's gambling going on in here. I'm shocked, I tell you. I'll post that in chat. Link to that.
Yeah, during World War II, the Japanese didn't think the Americans could hit them from far distances. And they were shocked to learn that they were putting shells on target for 20 miles.
So you had to take over Japan and stop them being flat earthers that could shoot artillery shells. What if that crap's a psyop, dude? That freaking flat earth globe, they tell the rest of the world the earth's a globe so that they'll believe them and then make military equipment for that. And then when they actually go into war, they lose because the earth's not a globe. They're accounting for Coriolis and can't hit nothing. Accounting for curvature, can't hit nothing. Think they can only shoot it so far because the curve of the earth's in the way.
Yeah, the Brits thought the same thing about radio signals, right?
Yeah, the Kinnickabine. How'd that work out?
Yeah, then all of a sudden the Brits had to come up with all sorts of countermeasures for these radio waves that were going over the curve of the Earth.
Oh, dark matter lore update.
Oh, mad, we're going to get a new gravity theory. Yes, we can add that to the pile.
When does a pile become so large it collapses in on itself and forms a black hole?
No, when it falls over, we blame gravity.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Can my friend come?
Okay.
Do you believe in aliens?
Aliens? Jamesy?
Yeah, aliens.
Take this.
You mean
You don't
Mexicans?
believe in aliens?
Oh, I do.
Only.
I know many. I know many. I myself, I'm an alien in the United States. I'm an immigrant, and I immigrated from another country to the United States. So yeah, I'm a legalized alien. Someone from another land.
Okay. Now you know the truth.
Do you
Now
live
you
in
know
the country?
everything.
Do you live in the country that you were born at? Do you live there?
The country what?
Do you live right now? Are you standing on the on your mother country, the country that you were born at? Is
Yeah.
that where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Is there foreigners in your country, like people like Chinese people in your
No,
country?
no Chinese people. No.
No foreigners.
No, no.
So, yeah, aliens. In the fictional sense, it will be beings from other planets, but in the actual meaning of the word, it will be a legal term, alien for foreigners, people from other lands. The fictional sense, when you're speaking about the globe and being from other planets, like the Earth is a planet, fantasy, fiction, science fiction, then you use the word alien to talk about beings that come from the other globes or the other cartoons' imagination from the vacuum of space. It's fantasy. Like in the movies, when you see Star Wars and you see the aliens in Star Wars, that's the globe. That's the globe is the same. They're in the same universe.
What's
Fantasy.
the argument for that?
That the globe
I haven't
is
seen one
not
before.
the ground that you're standing on. The ground that you're standing on is not curving. It's not a globe. So when you see Earth as a globe, that's a misrepresentation of the Earth. And it will, if you see it in a movie, it's a cartoon. When you see it in the TV, it's not what the Earth is. When you
Yeah, I
see
know
it
that that's your
as a
claim.
globe.
Yeah, I know that that's your claim. I'm just asking what the argument is for that.
That wouldn't be my claim. That would be the acknowledgement of the physical or natural world out there. I'm acknowledging the surface of the
I'm
Earth.
just saying, what's the argument
you're
that those
saying
depictions are inaccurate?
Because the surface of the Earth is not doing what the depictions are showing you. Like the
That's
water
not
doesn't
an
behave
argument. That's
that
just
way.
a repeat of the. That's just a repeat of the claim in different words.
Okay, the surface of the Earth.
Like imagine if I said, "Oh, the
curvature.
Earth is not round," right?
So the surface of the Earth lacks the drop over distance to a specific rate that will conform to the claim of the sphere in the TV screen. So the sphere in the TV screen says that the Earth has specific variables, specific dimensions. So when you go turn off the TV and go outside on the Earth and you check that, you check the Earth, you measure the Earth, use lasers, long distance observations, you do all of those things and you check and triple check and 100 triple check the surface of the Earth and it's not curving, then the thing on the TV is not real.
But have you actually checked or?
Yes.
Okay, so you must have come to the same answer that all professional surveyors have, right?
Oh yeah, the surveyors definitely tell you that the surface
Oh
is
yeah, so
measured
the
as
professional
a plane.
surveyors say that we do indeed observe a curve. So
No, you don't. You're a liar.
we do observe a curve, right?
No, we don't.
I'm glad that you're a fellow glober. Welcome to the globe.
Is this idiot even listening, or is he just going to come here and just bark out bullshit?
Have you got Matrix muted?
No, I heard what he said. He said that the movies would be wrong if they don't conform to the measurements we take. And I said, yeah, have you taken the measurements? He said, yeah. And I said, did you come to the same conclusion that
Yeah,
all
but you didn't
professional
listen to what he
surveyors
said.
do?
You kept
And he
fucking
said,
talking,
yeah.
you rude little shit.
And he said, yes, I did come to the same conclusion.
No,
that
you
professional
chose not to
surveyors do.
listen to him. And that conclusion was what?
Yeah,
That he
tell me
came
what was
to
the
the same conclusion.
That's right, you spoke over the top of him because you're a rude little shit.
Yeah, but what is the conclusion?
How about Unity, instead of speaking over him, sorry, Jamesy, don't. You're a fuckwit debate child. We don't need your caliber of shit stain in here.
He spoke about conclusion, maybe.
What he did, Jamesy, and you missed it because he spoke clean over the top of you, was when he said you've come to the conclusion, he didn't even give a fuck what you said, mate. He just ploughed right through. Oh, so the conclusion of all the other surveyors is that it's a globe. And he just ploughed straight through you.
Yeah, I got it. I just wanted, yeah. No, you're right. You're right on point. I get it. That's a tactic. It's pretty obvious. But he's presuming that the conclusion. He's presuming that the conclusion. He doesn't want to talk about the conclusion. He said the conclusion is that it's a globe, and you agree with that. But he's misrepresenting the conclusion of the measurements because it doesn't represent the globe. That the globe
if
will
it's
be
been measured as a globe, Jamesy,
Go.
he'd have the measurements. If he knows that it's come to the same conclusion, he'd have these measurements where it shows as a globe.
Yeah.
Unity, have you got these measurements to put forward to everyone? Or are you going to go quiet on us?
Cool, I'm unmuted. I could share such measurements. I could share such measurements if you're referring to the claim I made, which is that professional surveyors do indeed observe a curve. You want me to post the link for that?
You know, Jesse, Path of Light's not a professional surveyor.
Do you want me to post a link showing that professional surveyors observe a curve?
No, we want to post you to post the data that you've got that proves this curve.
Well, my claim was
measured as drop over distance.
My claim was
blah blah blah. Post it in the side chat. Listen, this is not a debate. Post your data up.
Yeah, my claim was just that
the debate, bro. Just post your data. Yeah, you've got to reiterate your claim so no one plows through you. It's a bastard, isn't it? Post your data in the side chat.
Okay? Are you okay? Calm down, sweetheart.
Are you okay? Anyways, you post your data in the side chat, boy. Yeah, we don't care about your original claim
you're the man.
Because you have to reiterate it again. Let's just put you on there. You're going to post your shit in the side chat, and then I'm going to unlock you. See, if you haven't learnt yet, kid, I don't go for the debate bro tactics. You come in here, be an adult, not a complete fuckwit, post your data in the side chat. And no one's holding you in here either. No, a lol is not data. You can do better than that. So step up, sunshine. It's your call.
What did he say? What did he say? Did he say surveyors measure curve or something?
Yep.
Okay.
His claim was professional surveyors. We've got to make sure we get that right.
And observe it. And observe it.
Oh, and observe it.
I'd like the data posted up in the side chat. Unless anyone else wants to talk to him and listen to his shit. I thought it was piss weak, him just plowing through Jamesy.
I didn't hear. I just got back.
I'll get him for you.
For a second. I'll
get
get him.
It's all good.
Okay. Unity. Yeah. If they measure curvature, can you tell me what the reference ellipsoid's for then?
I don't know, but I just know that the land surveyors say that they've measured curvature, so that's good enough.
What?
I just know that the professional land surveyors have said that they do account for curvature when structures get large enough and there's project planning, so that's good enough.
Yeah, but they don't say that. You just made that up.
No, they say that.
No, you made that up, dude.
You want me to just give you a quick Google search or something?
I want I want a quotation from somebody saying what you just said they say.
Yeah, look. So I just quickly Googled it. Professional land surveyors do account for the Earth's curvature.
That's not a quotation. That's a general bullshit.
The approach depends on the scale and purpose of the project. For large scale or precise projects,
Still not a quotation.
Such as national mapping. I don't know why you
Google is
need
not a
quote.
human being, dude.
Yeah, I don't know why you're looking for some
you said
quote.
measure it, not account for it.
You said professional
You're just
surveyors.
moving the goalposts.
No,
You're moving the goalposts.
You
that's
said,
just a,
he said measure. Indio, he also said measure, not account for. Slightly different.
Yeah. So Unity, you said professional surveyors. That would be a human being, not Google. So show us the professional surveyors saying that.
Yeah. Professional surveyors.
Yeah, an actual
curvature.
one, not the abstract concept. No, an actual one. An actual
you guys
one
seem
saying
really
an actual
out
one,
of
Unity.
control
Why are
here.
you
Can you guys
deflecting?
just like
Why are
calm
you
down?
deflecting? Why are you deflecting from you not being able to?
There's no deflection. You're just like getting a little rowdy. Just calm down. I don't know why you're so
he's not.
like hurt.
Well, you didn't answer my first question. What's the reference ellipsoid for if they measure curvature?
I did answer. What was my answer?
You said you're an idiot and you don't know anything about this subject.
I didn't say those words. I said I don't know because I'm not sure how those terms are used.
You know what a reference ellipsoid is?
And then you said, all I know is I've heard surveyors
Hello. What did I literally just tell you?
Surveyors also say that they use. Hold on. Surveyors also say they use a reference ellipsoid.
What did I literally just tell you?
Yeah, but that's what they also say. They also say that they use a reference ellipsoid.
What did I literally just tell you?
Who cares?
You're reading shit off Wikipedia or something. We don't give a fuck. We want an actual quotation from. Yeah, we're just going to talk for a minute. No, you're not. Unity. I don't know if you can get this through your thick little skull, but the debate bro tactics don't work in here. If you're going to put data forward, put it forward. And he thinks he's funny. You're a child.
No.
If you want to go do the debate bro thing, fuck off to politics and do it. No one's going to stop you, mate.
So,
seriously.
Unity, let me get this straight. We're supposed to have a conversation with you when you don't know anything about it. Say somebody says such a thing, you don't know who said it and can't quote a particular person.
Yeah, I don't think needing to quote a particular person is some sort of reasonable standard because there are a multitude of things.
You said you've heard them say it.
Calm down. I just started speaking. Why are you cutting me off? Calm down.
I'm correcting you because that's not what you said. Now you're changing the story. The story was that you've personally heard them say it.
When did I say it was personal? You're just putting words in my mouth.
You did.
That's the best you've got.
Right at the start.
You know you can rewind the live stream and just hear yourself say it.
Do you have that on recording? I'll give you $200 if you have a recording of me saying that. You want to make a bet?
Yeah.
You want to make a bet?
Let me just find the recording.
So the bet is that I said I've personally heard surveyors say that. And if you're wrong, you owe me $200. If you're a man, take that bet. If you're a little bitch, dodge it. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, you're a little bitch. I knew you were a little bitch. You're submissive and weak. You have no testosterone. You're not a real man.
Oh, I know who this is. Just get rid of him. I know.
Which clown shoes is it?
Yeah. Are you the faggot that's always in my DMs? Unity? Are you that little faggot that's always in my DMs?
Are you dodging the bet?
Indio?
Are you dodging the bet? Oh,
no,
he's dodging
let me find out what your name. No, I want to find out what your name is.
That's so weak, bro.
Dodging what bet?
The bet that I said that I personally heard a surveyor say
that I said. So you get to make the terms of the bet that I bet? I don't think so.
No, you made a claim, and I said, "Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is, retard?"
First of all,
no, you didn't use those words.
Micro penis haver.
First of all,
you're so
you're
weak and
wrong.
submissive.
First of all, you're wrong. I didn't say it. T-Dub said it. So you want to correct yourself?
Whichever one of you said it.
That was just whoever. You want to bet on it?
Well,
you bet on
wait, so you think that your friend is wrong when he says that? Wait, so your friend is wrong? So is your friend wrong, yes or no?
No, bet me $200 I didn't say that. You're a little testosterone was a bitch. Yeah, see how that works, you stupid fuck?
Is your friend wrong, yes or no? Is your friend wrong?
Yeah, I just played the same game you did on you because you're so weak.
Now, Unity, just so you
Turn
know,
them
if
off
you can
square
read the
play,
side
dude.
chat, we know you can write in it, so obviously you can read it too. Just above what you just posted by Yaga Bruno, heard them say it implies you've personally heard that. So you failed, not anyone else. Please try harder.
Yeah, when you say you hear, that means you heard with your fucking ears. You didn't say I read. You didn't say someone told me. You said I heard them say it, right? Correct? Did you hear him say it or not, Unity? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, Princess, that's you.
Yeah, back to the drawing board, Unity. You in your DMs, circle jerking your girlfriend.
Finally uncucked. Yeah. So if you're thinking that what was meant is that I heard a surveyor say that in person, how would I even share a quote with you about that?
How else would you have heard it?
You know that if I hear something, that's audible sounds going into my ears. Do you understand that that's distinct from writing that you could extract from the internet from me? How do you get a quote from me?
Yeah,
How do you get a quote from me?
Who did you hear it from?
That's irrelevant. I probably heard it on some YouTube videos, heard people talk about it in like documentaries.
Shut up, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Could have been in my fucking.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch. Yeah, keep coming back. I'll just keep doing it.
All right, so I'll admit he didn't actually say he's heard them say it. What he said was, I don't know. All I know is that surveyors say they measure the curvature. I can clip it if you want, but that's what he said. So he didn't actually say he's heard them say it. He says, all I know is that surveyors say that they measure curvature.
He doesn't know what they say. He doesn't know anything. He's a bullshit artist. And your bullshit doesn't even come out a good picture.
He's probably heard one YouTube video with McToon and Jesse Path of Lies.
And you know who doesn't account for curvature?
Yeah, Jesse Path of Light is not a surveyor, by the way. Unity, Jesse Path of Light's not a surveyor, but that's who you got it from. Neither is McToon.
Why do you keep talking about this Jesse Light person? What the fuck? Anyways.
Because most of you little cockstrokers coming in talking about him.
What that is. Anyways, so now that we're clear on how you don't know how quotes work, right? If you want me to find a quote, I'm happy to do that. But I want you to think of this analogy.
You should already have it.
Suppose that
you should already have it.
Suppose that someone says, but Christians say that sex before marriage is bad.
Great analogy.
Now
get back to your curvature.
We don't give a shit.
If you ask them,
I'm gonna just fucking ban you, bro. Why the fuck can't you stay on topic?
What's going on?
Not much. What are you up to?
What I'm up to?
Yeah, what are you up to? Yeah. What are you doing? What brings you here? Eating. What are we having tonight? Anything good?
I'm eating cheese.
Cheese pizza? Or just cheese, dude? You poor? You just eating down on a block of cheese?
Not just cheese.
Just cheese. Goat cheese?
No, it's like do you know like Turkish cheese?
String cheese.
Turkish cheese? No. That shit's good though. Is it good?
If we said Earth is cheese.
It's the moon. The moon is cheese. Turkish cheese, man. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
So are you from Turkey? Is that why you're eating Turkish cheese?
No, I'm not from Turkey. But Turkish cheese is the one with too many holes. Like you.
I thought that was Swiss cheese. Oh, there's more holes or something? Huh. Why are you eating only cheese, man?
Is that funny?
That you're eating only cheese? Oh,
That has more holes than you.
There's more holes? Wow. So if the earth is a ball, how can there be cheese? Can't be no ball, no cheese on a baller.
Yo, what's up, Shadow?
My friend just came.
Oh, he's here?
Yeah, you can talk to him. His name is 3BT ULRA7 MAN.
Yep, 3B dollar. 7 man.
$3 man. Yeah. Now talk to him. He said to me that Earth is flat and he saw it. He has the proof.
He saw it? You saw it too. Everybody's seen it. What are you talking about? Everybody has seen a flat earth. Everybody.
I saw nothing. Don't say
so you're
everybody.
blind? So you're blind? How did you find your cheese if you're blind?
What? I didn't say anything about Earth being flat. He just told me.
That doesn't matter whether you think it is or not. You did see a flat Earth. There's no doubt about that.
No, he just told me that Earth is flat, but I didn't say anything about that. What I can see is Earth being flat, but my eyes can't see is what Earth is being flat, not because my eyes is limited vision.
Chad, what are you trying to say?
He doesn't know.
I don't know.
He doesn't like the idea that he saw a flat Earth. He wants to just imagine that he saw a ball, but that's all he can do is imagine.
Just you need to tell me if Earth is flat or not flat. I don't know. Most of you gonna have a conversation. Okay, it's your opinion, but my friend think it's not flat. Now you can have a conversation to tell me.
Okay,
and
it's not, but you're wrong. It's not an opinion. An opinion is red's my favorite color. That's an opinion. The Earth is flat.
Okay.
That's objectively true. It's not an opinion.
Okay. Give us your proof.
The ocean.
The ocean. What is about the ocean?
Okay.
Okay. What is about the
is
ocean?
Hold on. You asked me a question. Is most of the surface of the Earth ocean water? The surface of the Earth. Ocean. Okay. So whatever the ocean does, that's what the Earth does, right? So hold on. Why you interrupt me? Whatever the ocean does, that's what the Earth does, right? So if the ocean curves, then the Earth's a ball. If the ocean's flat, then the Earth is not a ball.
Okay, let me.
Okay, so the ocean's flat, bro. We know. We measured it. It looks flat. It measures flat. We use it as flat.
Okay, ocean is flat the ocean is flat in human perspective. What your eye can see is ocean being flat, but the whole ocean, what your eye can't see, is curved.
How
Human
do you know that?
Because
Go
Earth is
ahead.
so massive, ocean is so
How?
massive.
Yeah, it can be so massive, but it can be massive and flat. So why do you think it's curving?
Why do I think it's curved?
Yeah. Why do you think the ocean water curves? Why do you think it curves into a ball?
Because he saw it on the TV.
Yeah, because I saw it in the TV. TV told me.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So you went outside, you looked out, you saw the ocean, it looked flat, and you're like, nope, go back inside, watch TV.
Bro, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's the situation. You can't get out of it. That's the way it is. You can
No,
believe in the TV. I don't care.
not about the TV. I was making fun of you, idiot.
No, you
Look at
you
the
have
moon
never
and the sun.
listen. You've never seen curving water. You've never seen a curving ocean. You
Look at
haven't.
the moon.
That's true. That's why I said you saw a flat Earth. Everybody's seen a flat Earth since the time began.
Look at the moon and the sun. They are totally.
Are they there? So notice how you had to say, "Oh, look at the Earth over here." You said, "Look at something that's not the Earth, the sun and the moon." Why should we look at the sun? Why would we look at the sun and the moon to tell what the Earth is?
Because I'm gonna relate everything together. Because
Okay,
the
why
gravity, bro.
you didn't answer my question?
Objectives.
Why would we look at the sun and the moon to know what the Earth is?
Because Earth make gravity with moon because they are object.
Okay.
Bro,
There's no reason to think that the Earth is like the sun and the moon. Okay.
It is like them.
How do you know they're the same?
Because it is among them. So it should be like them.
What do you mean among them?
It follows the rule. It follows the rules. So it should be like them. The gravity rules, the physics rules.
What about other planets?
That's what he just said. Other planets. Other than what? Other than Earth?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to know if Earth is flat, then how the satellites and space station and everything are there in outer space?
Okay, one question at a time. Okay. For the second guy, I mean, Earth isn't a planet. Okay. So there are no other planets. There are planets, but not planets other than Earth because Earth isn't a planet. Now the other guy, what did you say? TV station?
Yeah. So what I said is that the space station and the satellites, those are the roaming around the Earth. So how they are doing it if the Earth is flat?
Okay. How do you know there's satellites and ISS roaming around the Earth?
If you use telescope and at particular time at the night at the sky, so you can see good enough with clarity that something in the sky is rotating, and which is some shape. And
Fine. Yeah, but you don't know how high they are. You don't know how big they are. You don't know what they are, right? So let me tell you a story. So about 6 months ago, some astronomers published in a journal, they went back and looked at photographs, telescope photographs from 1947 to 1957, okay? Before satellites. Right? You understand before satellites were ever launched?
Okay.
Yeah, they found satellites before satellites. I'm not making this up. This was published in an astronomical journal. Professional astronomers. went back and looked at old photographic plates from telescopes and found objects that looked like they were orbiting the Earth, even though that's impossible because there was no such thing as rockets. There's no such thing as satellites. The point is, from the Earth, you can see all sorts of stuff in the sky, and somebody can tell you any story about them. You have no way to confirm it.
So the thing is, why Earth is round? So if you want to put some mass or put let's say area, the circle has the least area, sphere has the least volume. So everything which is attracting, like why Earth is a sphere shape, because the gravitational force pulls everything to make it the volume of that subject or that matter, whatever it is, in the shape of a sphere, so that its volume is very less as compared to square, rectangle, polygon, or whatever may say.
I understand. So ninth grade. Yeah, I understand. But that right there, what you just said, that's a hypothesis. Right?
It's not hypothesis. If you calculate the area, if you how times measure,
how weight measure. That part. No, hold on. You said two parts. The mathematical part you said and geometric part you said was correct. The part about there being gravity that pulls it into that is a hypothesis. So you mix two things. You mix math with physics. Now the physics part, if your theory is, hey, there's a force, it's going to pull everything into a ball. Okay, that's your hypothesis. Well, you're going to have to go out into the natural world and actually measure that the Earth is a ball, right? To prove your hypothesis?
Okay, and so what about the videos that we see from the space
you better
station?
skate past that one. So has anybody actually measured the Earth as a ball to prove that hypothesis, buddy? That gravity forms things into balls.
Yeah, so that is everyone proved. Like in laboratory they can easily prove that they can.
Really?
The gravitational...
They can do gravity. They can do gravity in the laboratory and form balls.
They won't take the gravity part because gravity is like we are not supposed to develop anything.
That's the hypothesis.
But they try to oscillate the object in a high speed so that its gravity is going to be get less, then how the density of the matter is going to change. So that kind of indirect study you can do. Directly gravity you can't study it, but indirectly you can replicate some of these things to study those behaviors. So that's
a lot of nothing. You just told me a lot of nothing, dude. Science is empirical, right? It's based upon empirical evidence. So if you have a theory or hypothesis, you have to go out into the natural world and demonstrate it. So if your hypothesis is gravity forms everything into a ball, you need A, an observation of that happening, or B, something or doing it in a lab. Which one do you have? Neither.
Okay, so
you have to confirm your hypothesis, right?
So if I can't prove the hypothesis, then the other thing is correct. Is it the way to say? Like if I can't prove A, then the B is correct. If I can't prove A, then B is correct, or B is also not correct.
We know B is correct because we know B. The way to prove what you're saying is correct, or at least indicate it's correct, or give evidence that it's correct, is to actually measure the surface of the Earth and show that it's curving, right? If the surface of the Earth was curving, then you could say it's a ball, but it's not curving, so it's not a ball. It can't be a ball. And how do we know the surface of the Earth isn't curving? Because we can measure, right? You can shine a laser, and if the Earth is a ball, then the laser will get higher and higher and higher, right? With distance.
Yeah, so that is the thing people are doing. So what is
we've done this, and it doesn't get higher and higher and higher. We've done this.
So how far you went, like to measure that?
40
because
kilometers.
If you measure this, so 40 kilometers may not be the curvature of the Earth, because Earth is a diameter is around how much?
Yeah, that's great.
1200 kilometers, 12,000 kilometers. So in order to get a curvature, you need to go like quite a far enough distance. Obviously I need to do the math, but obviously 40
Well, we
kilometers is
did
not
the
good
math,
enough.
and that's why I'm telling you 40 kilometers is enough, because the drop in 40 kilometers is supposed to be 127 meters. So if I start at a laser, right, on one side, I'm 2 meters. I shine the laser across water, 40 kilometers. At the other side, 40 kilometers away, the laser should be 127 meters off the water. But we've done this, and it was the same height. From 2
So you
meters,
are measuring
40 kilometers, 1.5 meters at the other side. Not 127 meters, 1.5.
So you are doing it in the water, in the ocean.
In the air, dude. Well, no, this was done at a lake.
So you know the Earth has different elevation. If you go to, let's say, California, it is a different elevation.
On a lake. A lake?
So a lake is because but the lake has also how lake flows. It's because of the Earth elevation. It's coming from top to down. That's why the water flows. If that is not there, the water won't going to flow. It will be a pond.
Hold on. This lake is an inland lake. It was created when it's called Lake IJsselmeer. It's in the Netherlands. It was created. It's man-made. They cut it off from the sea. It doesn't have a water source. There's no water flow into it. So that don't work.
So it's a pond. So it's a pond.
No, it's
so
a
it's not a
giant lake that they cut. It was like a what they call a fjord, and then they dammed it up, right? So they just cut it off from the ocean.
So water stay there, or it flows, or there's no way.
Flow.
It's like
There's nowhere for it to flow to.
And how big? The lake is 40 kilometers? That big lake?
Well, it's bigger than that. It's freaking probably like the full size of it's probably like 100 kilometers. But they did their beam was they did 19 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 47 kilometers, or 40 kilometers, 41 kilometers, and I think 12 kilometers. They did 5 different trials.
Yeah, so the thing is, you need to have some sufficient horizontal distance in order to get the Earth curvature, because diameter
I
of the
just
Earth
told
is
you
around.
what it was.
That makes sense.
Do you think I can know the difference between 1.5 meters and 127 meters?
Yeah, that's true. And the second thing is the elevation of the water or the ground. That also varies when you move from 1 meter. That is from if you travel like 1 meter, also your ground is going to elevate.
Don't you think we accounted for all this, dude? You're being a dunce, okay? The laser was 1.5 meters off the water. At the other side, the laser was detected 1.5 meters off the water.
Okay, maybe you have done the experiment, so I need to believe.
Across water. Water doesn't have different elevations unless it's a freaking waterfall. It wasn't a waterfall. It was a lake. This isn't the only one. There's Salt Lake. There's Great Salt Lake. That's 21-mile laser shot there. You don't understand. Like, you think the Earth is supposed to curve, so you guys all say this. Earth is so big, you can't measure the curve. But if you do the math, it should be easily measurable. So I'll give you for instance.
I'm just difficult to find a 40 kilometer.
In 15 kilometers, bro, in 15 kilometers, the drop because of curvature should be 20 meters.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking 40 kilometer is like a lake,
an exponential
and the water is
function,
not
bro.
flowing. Water is not flowing anywhere. Just 40
No,
kilometer,
it's not
water is
flowing.
staying somewhere.
Yeah, it's a man-made lake.
Okay, so can you say me like what the name of the lake? I can Google it. Like 40 kilometer lake. I also want.
Lake. It's bigger than 40 kilometers. It's Lake IJsselmeer. I'll post the name in the chat. It's a freaking because it's Dutch. They got weird names.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you guys have done the experiment, so yeah, maybe it makes sense something because you might have observed something that we don't know.
I love how you guys always default to we fucked up. We didn't fuck up. This is like the 7th time it was done.
Okay, let's
No, you guys have a like you pretend you're not biased. You're extremely biased, extremely, and you don't realize it. You're extremely biased. Like I'm giving you information, and you're just popping up every possible reason you can think of on why it's wrong. You have never, ever in your entire life looked at the globe Earth that way and said, "Holy shit, dude! If the Earth was a globe, how does this work? Or if the Earth was a globe, how does that work?" No, it's only if the Earth was flat, how does that work? You only question flat Earth. You never question the globe.
Actually, physics makes sense when it is globe. Then
just makes
when
sense.
it is flat.
No, you just like it. Has nothing to do with
it
making
makes
sense. You just like it.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. That's why how
Yeah, I'm
satellites
sure that's what
get
Plato
orbit.
wrote down.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what the famous philosophers, Plato, he wrote down. It's a globe, just makes sense.
Yeah, in the sense, physics, science, math, and logic, everything match when Earth is
The globe has no logic. There is no logic to the globe. None.
But yeah,
It's
but the
real simple.
experiment, if you have proved something, then obviously that need to be seen because experiment has more weightage than let's say logic, philosophy, and other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Experiments determine cause and effect relationships. If you want to know the geometry of something, you just measure it. That's the only way to get that. So if the Earth is flat or the Earth is a globe, you have to measure the Earth. That's the only way to know one way or the other. And because only one thing separates a sphere from flat, that's whether the surface is curving or not. That's the way we can know if it's curving, could be a ball. If it's flat, can't be curving. It's called a true dichotomy.
Yeah, okay, it's fine, but one of my cousin is a pilot, and he also says me the same thing. The way he used to fly the aeroplane. Obviously, you can say that no one has proved, no one has seen that something and all. But yeah, so basically the thing is.
Are you gonna tell me he sees a curve from his airplane, dude? Is that what you're gonna tell me?
No. The way he told me that he has to take this path, like he can't go directly, so that it doesn't make sense because Earth is curve. We have curvature in the Earth, so we need to follow this path. That's why we are going to this space. So yeah, because you can see down there. So let's say you are traveling from Europe to, let's say, Washington, or means like Seattle. So you need to go to the from because the Earth is curved. That's why flight usually say they used to go from the northern part. Then you come to the Seattle. Let's say from France to Seattle. So up there you obviously won't able to see down. But if the pilots, like they used to say, if they come down, they can see the thing that they are crossing the northern pole when they are going from France to, let's say, Washington, that is Seattle. So they are not going straight from the France to Seattle by crossing, let's say, New York or Minnesota or any other
that
United
they're
States.
looking down from their plane at the North Pole.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying the pilots and all, but the fighter jets and other things.
Freaking workshop too.
Okay, it's fine. So the pilot won't able to see that, but the fighter jet and other one, if want to travel, like which aeroplane can travel in a low altitude, and they can easily see around from if we are moving from one location to the next location, how they're which path they are following and what down there.
Look.
So if Earth is a flat, like
I was on a plane. I was on an airplane last week. Okay, you can see maybe from an airplane, even though the globe says 140 miles, I think you can see about 150 based upon my estimation. Okay, now 150 miles is nothing. Nothing. You can't tell which way you're going. Planes fly in what's called international and domestic flight corridors. They have transponders, they have waypoints, they have a route which they're supposed to fly. If you're talking about the way the route is projected on, say, a Mercator map, that is just an artifact of taking one coordinate system and projecting it into another. So if you have a polar coordinate system, which uses angles, and then you project it into a Mercator map, which uses, rectangles, which is actually a cylinder, you're going to get distortions because you're doing a different projection. But that's not the way the plane is actually flying. I can post right now, I can post the polar projection from pilots inside the cockpit talking about their map, and it shows they're flying in a straight line. But that's just an artifact of the projection. It has nothing to do with which way they're actually flying.
Okay, it's fine. So one is your experiment. Then second one is obviously they are, let's say, going straight flying. And the third one, if I ask
they don't fly. They don't.
the satellites.
Hold on. Let me clear this up. Planes don't actually fly in what they call great circle routes. That's a myth. Air traffic is highly controlled. Like, say you fly from the Atlantic, say you fly from New York City to France. You have to fly in a flight corridor. That means there's a narrow corridor that all the planes fly in. So if you're in New York, that corridor is in like Nova Scotia. So you have to fly north to get into it to fly across the Atlantic, even though it's out of your way. If it was a globe, you would just fly across the Atlantic and you wouldn't take that route. But they fly wherever the goddamn government tells them to fly.
Fine, because obviously you didn't see that, I didn't see that. So yeah, so there's no proof for us. But those who are dealing with those coordinates or those who are flying, let's say at low level, if those guys can see those things, so they might have.
What are they going to see? What do you think they're seeing?
I mean, yeah, they can see like the route they are following, and in the if the art is flat, so they're the route supposed to follow.
Airplane. You really need to get an airplane. You can't see what route you're following, bro.
No. What I'm saying is commercial flight is obviously is difficult. Like they are going, if I remember, 30,000 feet or something. So you can't see the city that you are crossing on. But the thing is, if you are going for, let's say, the fighter plane or other thing, those who can fly in very low altitude, and they can see even the earth or the surface, what are the location they are flying on. So I'm saying in that regard, but obviously I didn't talk to any, let's say, Air Force guy which is using a flight like the fighter planes, and he's observing the path and the ground. So obviously I'm not saying that because I don't have a proof as of now. But yeah, no one has said the same thing that the fighter guys, that yeah, if we are moving from one location to the next location, we are following the straight path, not the curved path, and or something like that. So it's the fact that we know is that the aeroplane or the flight generally follow the curved path because of the curvature of the earth. So yeah, so that is what I'm trying to say. But obviously I don't have the proof
I
for that.
understand what you're trying to say, but it's not a curved path. It only looks that way in a certain projection. So if you show the flight path like on a Mercator map, that path will look curved because it's because the plane is flying in the latitude longitude coordinate system. But the Mercator map has latitude and longitude coordinates, but they're distorted. So when you take one mapping and you mash it onto another, the line will look curved. But if like you pasted that on a physical globe, it would look like a straight line, right? So why does it look like a curved line? Because it's a projection. It's a map projection, but it's a map projection onto a different map projection. So it just looks like that. That's not the way the plane's actually flying.
And that makes sense. And
the
one more
map
thing,
brother, the map is not the territory, okay? The map is just the map. It's not the territory. That's
yes. But if the flat is a flat, let's say we are staying at the upper part of it, then what about the down? Is there anything else? No. A flat
is not
surface
in
is
outer-
two surface. A flat
There's no
surface
outer
has
space,
two.
buddy. There's no outer space.
Okay, there is no outer space. And one more thing, why the sun goes down somewhere and it goes up for somewhere? Like sun is like, let's say if you are in US, your sun goes down, but obviously in some country there will be sun is going to go up.
Doesn't
So
go
why it
down.
is happening?
It doesn't go
So
down.
why
It just appears that way because things that go off into the distance converge with the horizon. It's called perspective. You ever seen perspective drawing? Everything converges to the vanishing point.
and why it is coming back from the back of side again? Like if it is going east, it is coming from west.
Yeah, because east and west are circles.
If east and west are circles, then
right.
Yeah, then something is moving
So
from
when
east
you
to west.
circumnavigate and you go east and circumnavigate, you go in a circle and come back to the same spot.
Then all the space program, all the satellite that is happening. So no, just I'm asking. So those are also developed one.
Your mind escapes right back to fantasy land. That shit's fake, bro. That's it.
Okay.
That's a TV show. Do you understand?
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I think I remember. I think there's one movie. I think some Chairman or something.
No, the things that they say are not the TV show are still a TV show.
Okay, it's fine. So satellites are not there. Gravity force is also not there. Okay, so what else?
No.
Argument.
So the gravity thing, you have no evidence for the claim that gravity forms things into balls. There's no evidence for that. It's just a claim, right? I said, hey, dude, where's the experiment? We don't have the experiment. It's just bullshit. Till you got the experiment, I can't take it seriously. No one's ever observed that happening, gravity forming. Nobody in the history of all humanity has observed
The thing is, gravity is, you see, I think you are getting it wrong there. Gravity is a force.
Ugh,
so,
God.
So people have observed that if you can use magnetic force and any force,
I understand
you can
the
apply
story, bro. I understand the story. There's no evidence for the story. Do you understand?
It's fine. So if the argument
is there
that
evidence
way,
or not?
No, evidence is what? Like everything is working on that principle. So that is the evidence and all.
Oh my God, that's circular logic. That's circular logic.
And a pragmatic fallacy.
Nobody ever
appeal to pragmatism.
calculated anything on Earth to do anything on Earth ever using the universal law of gravitation, ever. Little g, the rate of acceleration of a falling object, that's known empirically. You don't even need a theory of gravity to use that. You don't need a theory of gravity to shoot a cannonball. No, you don't need it. It's because you have little g, 9.8 meters per second squared. Little g, we know that empirically because we can measure that.
Yeah.
We don't need a theory. Mass
we
attracts
don't need
mass is a theory. Do you understand? That's a hypothesis.
Yeah, a hypothesis long since abandoned.
Yeah, no doubt.
Then how the nuclear bomb that has been created, it is also based on that physics and all. Energy is equal to mc squared.
Based upon gravity? Jesus Christ.
No, energy. It's not. It's based on energy. It's energy. It's based on energy. Mass. When mass is going to dissolve off, then your energy is going to come equal to mc squared. So.
Oh my.
So obviously it's not. It's not about the gravity part, but what I'm saying is every physics is working well. When it comes to gravity and when it comes to, let's say, flat slab, then that is not working well.
This
We
is
have
an all or
satellite.
nothing fallacy. That if one part of physics is wrong or right, then all of physics is right. No, there's parts of physics that are incorrect and there's parts that are correct. The universal theory of gravitation is bullshit. They don't even believe it nowadays. They abandoned that for general relativity. That's also bullshit, but it's stacked higher, I guess.
No, in the bullshit you can find it in a natural and physical and natural world.
I
So
mean,
it's
I
not
guarantee you,
bullshit.
but like, I know this is hard for you to hear, but if I ask you what the definition of mass is, you're not even going to know what it is. But you think it's like you'll say it's a quantity of matter. No, it's not the quantity of matter, not in physics. Mass is a unit of measure. It's the measure of resistance to acceleration. That's a unit of measure. So how can a unit of measure attract a unit of measure? It doesn't even make sense. Gravity's horse shit, bro. Sorry, it's just a bunch of nonsense. And I'm talking about the universal theory of gravitation. We all agree things fall. But whether things fall, how you get to things fall, therefore Earth's a ball, that is not logical. You need to fill in the logical gaps to make that statement. And if you want to say gravity forms things into a ball, you need to measure that ball. You don't just get to say, well, we have a theory. No, you got to go out and measure it. You got to go out and test it in nature. That's how you confirm it. Is that unreasonable? To expect confirmation through experiment?
I need to ask maybe ChatGPT, like if they have done any sort of gravity experiment.
Yeah,
But I have no idea.
having it, but that's not what you need. You need is there any observation, experiment, nature that showed gravity forming an object into a ball? It's never been observed in nature. The claim is after the fact, right? We look in the sky, we see balls. Now we don't know how they formed. We have no fucking clue how they got there, how they formed, what they're made of, what they're doing, how fast they're going. We don't observe orbits, actually. If you think about it, has anybody actually seen an orbit? No. From the point of view of Earth, you just see the planets go across the sky and then whip around and go back the other way, and then whip around again and go forward again. That's all we see. We don't see them go around the sun. We don't have that viewpoint.
Then, if we don't see
the
that those
Earth go
things,
around the sun.
no. Yeah, that's true. We are not seeing those things. Then we are also not able to see the frequency. Now we are talking to each other from the internet, from the web, and everything. We don't see that. We don't see electricity.
That's great.
Yeah, we don't see air. So everything is now questionable.
Well, we can measure the electricity. We can measure all these things.
So, but these measures are again based on
existence because we're generating it somewhere, someplace. They freaking built magnets and wires and freaking substations and towers, and they freaking flipped the switch and turned them all on. That's how we know the electricity's there. We put it there.
Okay, it's fine then. Do I have anything else to say?
How come you're not doing this to the globe? Why don't you go on ChatGPT and ask all the reasons why it's not a globe?
It's fine. Yeah, it's quite interesting talking to you, and yeah, you have good arguments and good points. But obviously, it's difficult for us to believe. But yeah, you have good points.
I don't know why, because the flat Earth is not about believing something; it's about abandoning a belief. You'd be leaving belief behind, and you guys just don't seem to comprehend this for some reason. I know. I think that's harder to believe that the globe is a belief than actually believing the globe. It's like you guys can't comprehend it, that you're stuck in a belief system. Okay, we observe the Earth is flat. Nobody has to believe that. The Earth looks flat. Even the scientists say, well, locally, yeah, the Earth is giant and it looks flat. You said it. You said the Earth looks flat. We don't have to believe any of that. We see that. Now, saying it looks flat, but that's because it's a giant ball, that's a belief. Okay? Because you actually don't have the evidence for that to support that. Not from observation. Now, you can conceptually in your mind think, yeah, if I can think of a ball that's so large it would look flat. Well, I can think of a shark that's so large it would look flat. And I can think of a freaking, Roger Rabbit is so large he looks flat, or any other thing. Any large enough thing, if the other thing's small enough that it'll look flat. Great. but that doesn't mean it is that thing. You want to know what looks flat too? Things that are flat look flat. Yeah, things that are flat look flat. Now, I don't have to believe that. That's just true. And, you know, we don't have the belief. The belief is stuck on you guys.